Hold the camera there, okay? And just hold it there. You don't have to do anything.
This is for that little child with no father. For that man doesn't have a place to stay. For that little boy living with AIDS. Gonna tell you a story, tell you a story. You can lay on it. Yeah, a man. Oh yeah, standing on the corner. He has no money. He has no food. And his blue skies are gone. Yes it is. Can you hear him cry? A girl searching for a father and a friend. And I soon someday will end. But instead of walking away, oh, open up your heart and say, I can see your tears. I'll be there in a moment. Yes, I will. Friends are there to catch you when you fall. Here's my shoulder. Here's my shoulder. You can lean on me.
What's on there?
Listen.
Oh, there's a child who was sick and begging to be free, but there is no cure for his disease. Right this way, you got it. Look at it. He loves you more than you'll ever know. Instead of walking away, open up your heart and say, I'm here. Don't worry, I can see you got me. You're also my brother. It's my shoulder. You can just take that. Alright, first of all, I want to say hi to everybody. Thank you for coming in tonight on this live feed and everything. As you can see, the mother didn't show up. Vernon Stanford didn't show up. Jesse Weed didn't show up. And neither did Ryan McFarland show up. Everybody kind of figured that was going to happen anyways, that they wouldn't show up. There's a change in plans tonight on what I'm going to do with picking a jury to listen and everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to still do what a prosecutor, our prosecutor, should do with this case. And then what I'll do is I'll ask everybody's opinion on whether you think there's enough there to do what I'm going to ask everybody to do. The first thing I wanted to do tonight is I want to start off by saying a lot of people come in on my live feeds and they don't understand what's going on, and sometimes they crack a joke or they make some kind of thing and they don't understand what's going on. So the first thing I want to let everyone know that's going on tonight is this is about my little girl. On April 27, 2006, 12 years ago, Mackenzie Taylor Branham was murdered. That's my daughter. And she was 8 years old. There's a possibility that she was molested. The house was set on fire, which was an arson, and ruled as an arson. Facts about it is that it's an arson. And in all this, my daughter lost her life. She was in the 4th grade. She went to Jeffersonville Elementary School, and she would be 9 years old the next month on May 30th. My little girl was a beautiful little girl. She was very smart, would do anything for anybody, help anybody. And I can tell you right now, my daughter is very proud of what I'm doing today on trying to get justice for my daughter. So when people come on here, I want to start off and let everyone know what this is about. And what this is about is 4 people that are involved in my daughter's death. Whether they were involved in the arson or they were involved in the arson and the homicide of my daughter. This is also about the corruption, the mishandling, the cover-up, the negligence of the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, Montgomery County's Coroner's Office, and every other one that was involved in this mishandling of my daughter's case. And that's why something that should have been over with within that first months has gone 12 years now into me doing everything I possibly can to put away the people that are involved in my daughter's death. So one thing I want to talk about is and I will play the tapes tonight too, some of the other tapes that were not played yet and everything else, so you guys can hear the words of the prosecutor and the leading detective today, of what they thought and what they say, and they made their comments about Mackenzie's case. Last night I did notice there was a person on there. Her name, I guess, because I was blocked, I guess I couldn't see her comment, but other people saw the comment. And it's Jamie Potter's girlfriend. Her last name's Barbara. I'm trying to think of what her first name was. If somebody knows what her first name was. She made a comment on there that I'm contradicting myself. It's a train wreck and that Jamie Potter is innocent of any wrongdoing. Well, I can tell you right now, Jamie Potter is not innocent of any wrongdoing. I can't find the tape, but I do have the tape. You guys know when I say I have something, I do show it, I do play it. But on that tape, Ryan McFarland, exact words to me was, Jamie Potter has never took a lie detector test. or any other test that he knows of. He has been interviewed, but it wasn't an interview. In other words, the detective did not call him in. The detective went to his house, sat down, asked him a couple questions, and that was all it was done. But to prove my point on this girl's comments last night saying that Jamie is so innocent and Potter was so innocent and proven innocent. He ain't been proven innocent. What I'm holding here in my hands is a post lie detector test. And right here I will show it. It is signed right there. Can you see that signature? It is signed by Ryan McFarland, the detective that was handling this case. He's the one that gave the examination. And on that examination, it says, an interview was conducted with the subject. As such, he was provided the results of the examination. The subject maintained that he did nothing inappropriate. The subject was calm and gave no body language clues that would indicate dishonesty. Based upon my training and experience in law enforcement, it is my opinion that the subject did not respond truthfully to the relevant question number 3. The question was reformulated for chart 3 to clarify the question, and the subject still did not respond truthfully with that question. I am maintaining a copy of this report on file as well as original signed release form. Now, what this lie detector test was he was accused of doing stuff with his own child, with his own daughter. And you got to remember, Jamie Potter said that he was there the night of the fire when my daughter was killed. And he got accused of doing inappropriate things with his own child, which doesn't mean that he was raping her or molesting her or anything like that. Inappropriate could be anything. It could be he was taking photographs for his own pleasure. He was, watching her, so his girlfriend got on there last night and tried to run her mouth and try to clear Jamie Potter. First of all, you just got with Jamie Potter, so technically you would not even know anything about Mackenzie's case. You have no clue about Mackenzie's case. That's one lie that Jamie Potter told. Now, another lie that Jamie Potter told was he said that he was there to get pizza that he ordered, that Marianne called him 7 times that night to pick up pizza that he ordered from the school. He also said that a sheriff deputy went to his house that night, knocked on his door, woke him up out of bed, and told him that his sister's house was on fire. Well, every sheriff involved in this, every deputy involved, said that was a lie. They don't send deputies to the cousins' houses, uncles' houses, nephews' houses, aunts' houses, tell them that a child died. That's for the family, immediate family, to make those calls. So there's number 2 lie. Now the third lie, second lie that I can prove that he's a liar about is he said he was there to pick up pizzas at his sister's house the night of the fire and left between 11:30 and midnight. Well, as you know how I am, I made a phone call today. The phone call that I made today was to Mackenzie's school teacher. Mackenzie's school teacher was Miss Zimmerman back then in 2006. And I asked her if Mackenzie had any food that she sold or anything like that and was taking home that day. And Miss Zimmerman said not ever was there any food that she can remember at all being sold. And Mackenzie didn't sell any food or taking food home that day with her when she left the school. Now, the reason I made that phone call too was I asked Miss Zimmerman. I said, Miss Zimmerman, I appreciate everything you're doing here and talking with me, the father of Mackenzie. One of the questions I want to ask is, did any detectives come to the school and talk to you about, Mackenzie, what was going on with Mackenzie that day, anything? And Ms. Zimmerman said no. No detectives talked to her or any of the students in 2006. Instead, she said a deputy talked to her 7 years later and that was John Hicks. Excuse me. And John Hicks asked her a couple questions and talked to some of the kids, and that was the end of it. 7 years later, so Detective Brown never, or neither did Vernon Stanford, ever go to the school to find out if Mackenzie told anybody in her classrooms or anything about what happened, or if anything happened that day, or she was in trouble, or anything. Didn't ask her a thing. And Ms. Zimmerman clarified all this today, and a very nice woman, very sweet woman. I spoke to her for about 30 minutes on the phone, and she was awesome. And what? What is that? Tell them the story that Jamie gave me about that night. Who is that? I don't know who that is. I don't know what they're saying. So, like I said, so there was no food brought there, so why was Jamie there picking up a couple of pieces of pizza? Don't make no sense. So, I'm going to start this, and I'm going to go back through everything, and we're going to start on what we have here and what we got here. The first thing that I have, that I went through, is I contacted Montgomery County Coroner's Office, and I got their reports and everything on what they had and what they did with my daughter. And I played a tape, which I'm not going to play that tape tonight, but I played a tape. It's on one of my live videos where the coroner from Montgomery County admitted their errors. They admitted that they had white male DNA, that white male DNA sat there for 6 years in their facilities in Montgomery County, and the sheriff's office never asked one time for that DNA or anything like that. And like I said, so in Montgomery County, they sent me all the reports and stuff. One thing they talked about was Mackenzie's clothing. Mackenzie's clothing that she had on the night of the fire came up missing. And when they came up missing, then next thing I called Montgomery County, and they said no. The sheriff's office, Fayette County Sheriff's Office, lying. The clothes are not missing. They were destroyed. What they did was they destroyed my daughter's clothes of a murder scene. My child's clothes that she had on her that night, they destroyed 3 months after her death. Then you got Vernon, who said he never had the opportunity to see the clothes or anything like that, and because of that reason, the clothes, he tried to say they were wet and singed. So I called Montgomery County back. I asked Montgomery County for my daughter's pictures. And after it got all approved and everything, and I got the photographs of my daughter at the coroner's office in Montgomery County, I proved that her clothes were not wet and they were not singed. But that's some of the details of why I'm doing what I'm doing for my daughter, why I'm trying to get justice for my little girl. So we're going to start up here, and I'm gonna start up here. You want to stand over there? And what I'm going to do is, hopefully everybody can see this. Can everybody see Mackenzie's Army at the top of that board? Can somebody let me know if you can see the board, this board, and can you see Mackenzie's Army? Alright, thank you guys. Alright, well, we're going to start here. I'm going to start this, and I'm going to show you guys the what I have and everything on Mackenzie and everything. First of all, we're going to put Marianne the mother's name up here. We're going to start with Marianne. Now, Marianne has told at least 13 different stories of what happened that night. First story that she told was the dog knocked over a heater. If y'all remember, she said that the dog knocked over the heater. And when the dog knocked over the heater, it caught the carpet on fire, which she said the carpet had kerosene in it. Alright, now everybody knows I did a live feed. I bought a heater. I put the heater on hot, as hot as it could get where I couldn't touch it. I soaked the carpet down with kerosene, knocked the heater over on top of it. Not only did the heater shut off, but also the heater didn't even catch nothing on fire. Okay, the next thing, she blamed her own daughter. She said that her daughter left clothes on top of a heater. Now, she said she left her daughter. Now she's blaming her daughter. After she blamed the dog, then it was, I blame my daughter for leaving clothes on top of the heater. This heater is what they call a boiling heater. It has hot water that goes through it. The steam goes through that hot water, filters, and then, you know, the old style ones. Well, I asked some people that know, that have these kind of heaters, and they laid clothes up there. And if everybody remember back in the day, you used to take your snowshoes off and all that and set them up on top of that heater so they would dry. So that didn't catch nothing on fire. So that was two excuses right there. The third one she said that night, or she told, was that my daughter was found under the window holding a rabbit. Now I know that's a lie because the fire marshal said the rabbit was in the cage was locked, and that the rabbit was dead inside the cage. Number two, my daughter was in her bed, found in her bed with the sheets over top of her, so we all know that my child wasn't under no window holding a rabbit. The next thing she said was that Kenny went up a ladder to save Mackenzie. Now, we all know that that's a lie because Kenny admitted that he never used the ladder. He finally admitted it to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office and to BCI and them, that he never used that ladder to save my daughter or try to save my daughter. The next thing is she didn't make no 911 calls to anybody that night of the fire. And she had her cell phone on her. She had her cell phone. Okay? The next thing is she said, let's see, I'm trying to think of everything. She's told so much stuff. She said, but the reason I know she has a cell phone on her is, one, she said that she called Kenny's parents, which are the Mossbarger family. The Mossbarger family. She called Kenny's parents, and now this is her on a tape recording saying this, that she called Kenny's parents to bring them clothes. never dialed 911. Never called 911, but she called to bring her some clothes. She also talked on a tape about that Mackenzie was ready to go see God. And that Mackenzie died peaceful. That's what the mother said. Mackenzie was ready to go see God. Now, I have a witness. I have a witness that saw Marianne at a bar between 9:30 and 10 o'clock the night of the fire. And if she was at the bar between this time right here, then who was there watching Mackenzie at home? So we got that now. Then we got, what other lies she told? She's told so many. Oh, Marianne said, this is the mother, she said, in the newspaper, that she talked to Mackenzie during the fire. We know that's a lie. And if that was true, that she talked to Mackenzie and told her to go to her window, then why did she run away from the fire up the street? Why did she leave her daughter in that house? And if she's standing there and looking up and she's talking to Mackenzie saying, go to your room, why didn't she just tell Mackenzie to jump down to her and catch her? Why didn't she? And if she was standing there, that means the stairs wouldn't have been on fire yet. So why didn't she run up the stairs and get Mackenzie and go out her bedroom window with my daughter? So we all know that's a lie too. So out of all these stories that Marianne's told, I'm going to ask a question right now with Marianne. Is she guilty or not? Do you think there's enough for a prosecutor to get an indictment? Mm-hmm. So I want everybody's opinion right now just on Marianne. Do you think there's enough for an indictment for Marianne?
Donald, we have Jamie Potter on here.
I don't care, let Jamie Potter be on there. I'm glad Jamie Potter's on there. You know what? You don't get that far. Come over to 765 Petticourt. Let me hear your truth, because I got the truth about it, boy. I got your number. So, right now, I just want everybody to to tell me whether or not there's enough indictment for this. Alright, so now, thank you y'all, let's go with Kenny. Now, Kenny was he was a 12-year volunteer fireman. 12-year volunteer fireman. He said, first he lied and said he used a ladder. Then he reneged and said he didn't. So right there, he lied. He was the first one to tell the first lie. The first lie. Second of all, we have he's abused my kids. He's hung them on hooks. He's thrown shoes at them. He's had a dog bite my son in the side. Everything. Now, he moved the truck. He moved a pickup truck and put it in the middle of the road. To stop any volunteer, any fireman, anybody to go down there and help try to save my daughter. Now the firemen have proven that the truck was sitting in the middle of the road with the doors open, truck running, and we got a witness. I have a witness that can prove that Kenny left his house, went down there and moved the truck. But instead of moving the truck, he put it in the middle of the road to block the street for the fire trucks to get in there to fight the fire. Instead, the firemen had to stop what they were doing, get out of their truck, move the pickup truck, and then pull the fire truck in there so they could fight the fire. Then on top of that, him and Mary Ann waited 15 minutes to 20 minutes before they even told anybody that my daughter was in the house. Now, out of the 12 witnesses, they didn't even tell them that my daughter was in the house. All they said was they had a house fire. We also know that Kenny bought gas cans the day of the fire. He purchased gas cans the day of the fire between 2:30 and 3 o'clock p.m. Ain't it funny? He buys gas cans and there's a fire that night. On top of that, when the sheriff's office and the fire marshal asked about the gas cans, they didn't know where the gas cans were. And most people, when you buy gas cans, either they're in your garage or they're in your shed. And the fire marshal or anybody involved in this case could not even find those gas cans that were purchased the day of the fire. And plus, Kenny was at the bar that night too. So with this evidence here that as a prosecutor, I would point out to a grand jury, and there's other stuff too to add along with it. I want to know now, do you feel that Kenny should have an indictment? Do you think there would be enough evidence there for an indictment for Kenny Mossbarger?
Scroll up a little bit.
Why?
Just do it. Slowly though. You'll see who commented.
Jamie Potter?
Yes, sir.
Where at?
Right here. Look, I scrolled back.
The mother does Suzanne. The mother does what, Suzanne? There's Jamie Potter? That's all he said.
I've been there. You call the cops and send your wife out to deal with the situation.
I've been there. You call the cops and send your wife out to deal with the situation.
I like listening to lies. So sad to Jamie Potter.
I like listening to lies.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Show me your evidence.
They should have taken the clothes because it didn't.
Fine. Go ahead and put over there. Put the camera on me. Put the camera on me.
Let's call him out.
Alright, Jamie Potter. I'm calling your ass out, buddy. You think you're so whatever. Let me tell you something. First of all, you lied. You lied out of your own mouth. Your exact words was what you told me. You were there. Marianne called you 7 times. You went there to get pizza. You're a liar. There was no food there for you. Number 2, if you had your DNA taken, then show everybody. Go live right now. Go live right now, Jamie Earl Potter, the child molester. Go right now and show everybody this paper right here, signed by Detective Brown, because this is my receipt that shows that I gave up my DNA. Show everybody where you gave it up. Show it right here. This is the piece of paper everybody wants to see you show. And I've already collected all the lie detector tests that BCI took of everybody, and buddy, your fucking name ain't in there. Your name ain't nowhere where you took a lie detector test. So show your evidence, show your proof, because like I said, I've got mine. I've got mine, and right here's the letter signed by Ryan McFarland that you failed your own test with your own child. Don't bullshit somebody. Run your mouth all you want to, Potter. Just like you did when I got, and I can prove this too on you, Jamie. Just like when you brought the cops to my house to retrieve a truck that you lied about and stole back from my son. I still have your signature on a copy of the
Bill of Sale,
where you and my son, you stole from my own son, you son of a bitch. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. And you ain't got the balls to come to my house while I'm here. Because you know you was involved. You know you was there that night. You know what you did and what your brother did to my daughter that night at that fire. And you ain't got the balls to face me, boy. So, you know what? Go live. Show your receipt with Detective Brown's signature on it that you gave your fucking DNA, bitch. Right there's mine. Kenny's got one too. Ain't it funny? Kenny's got the same piece of paper I do. Where's your paper, boy? Don't get on here and call somebody a liar when I have the evidence right here. Right here's the evidence. Show your DNA. Show your copy of your lie detector test. Because you're a liar. You didn't take a lie detector test. You didn't take a DNA. They didn't get your DNA. You're a liar. Just like you lied about your own child, and just like you lied about my daughter. You're a piece of shit, motherfucker. And your girlfriend can kiss my white ass. My white ass, too. You know what? Problem of it is, you're guilty, son of a bitch, and I proved it. I proved it. I got the evidence to prove you're guilty and you're full of lies. I know, Mom, I'm sorry, but you know what? I'm sick of these Potters thinking they got all the answers, but you know what? It's been 12 years and none of them son of a bitches have done one thing for Mackenzie. Not one thing have they done for Mackenzie. Oh yeah, they showed up to a memorial that I did, that I threw for my daughter because she was exhumed and we had to rebury her. They showed up for that. But they ain't done nothing. They ain't called the Fayette Sheriff's Office. They ain't called BCI. They haven't talked to nobody. They ain't pushed anything. And the bad part about it, they all know what happened that night. They know their sister. They know their brothers are involved in Mackenzie Taylor Branham's death. They know it. And yeah, I get upset because he wants to run his mouth on her.
In two closed cases that you had open, Ashley. So did the Fayette County Sheriff's Department, Ashley?
Yeah, Jamie, look, why don't you argue about, ain't it funny you're going to argue with your ex-wife over your child because you found guilty? Bottom line is you can't admit it that you were taking pictures of your daughter for pleasure. I'm wondering if you were taking pictures of my daughter for pleasure and that's why my daughter is dead and a fire was set to cover it up. Because you were there. You were there that night. Quit arguing with Ashley. Show your evidence, buddy, on Mackenzie. Because you're calling me a liar. I want to see your evidence. Alright, let's go to, well, we don't need to go to Jamie Potter. I mean, by God, we know what he did. We already know. I've already proved his lies. So how many people think that Jamie Potter should they be able to get an indictment and bring Jamie Potter in for Mackenzie's death? If you think that Jamie Potter, we already got Marianne and Kenny, so now it's Jamie Potter, the number 3. So if anybody thinks that Jamie Potter is guilty, or not, let's not say guilty, because that's up to the courts to prove whether he's guilty, but if you think there's enough for an indictment for Jamie Earl Potter, everybody say yes on my phone.
I know you. Where did your mom out you at? What the hell do you... Where's yours or mine?
Where's yours on mine?
Yep, I don't know what he means.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Everybody's now saying yes.
Yep.
Let's wait and give time. Here's the main thing, you guys. Here's how I look at this whole entire thing. You have no reason, if you're innocent of any wrongdoing in Mackenzie Taylor Branham's death or the arson of 7 Walnut Street, Jeffersonville, Ohio, you have no reason whatsoever to lie. To even tell one lie. You have no reason to. And Jamie Potter told lies. He said he was there picking up pizza. He didn't. He also said that he drank a large glass of tea. That's what he said. He drank a large glass of iced tea with my daughter that night. And let me tell you something. I've got the evidence right here because, you know what? Forensic don't lie. My daughter only had 5 milliliters of urine. Right there. 5 milliliters of urine in her system. And if you drank a large glass of iced tea, you would have 250 milliliters in your urine. 250 milliliters. So he didn't drink no glass of tea with her. So there's another lie. He didn't. No sheriff deputy went to his house and woke him up. And since you're on here, Jamie Earl Potter, and you want to put your 2 cents in it, then give us the name of the deputy that came to your house, knocked on your door, woke you up, and told you that your sister's house was on fire. Give us his name. We'll give you time to think about it. We'll give you some time. Let's think about it. Give us the deputy's name that came to your house and woke you up and told you your sister's house was on fire.
Oh, I did. It was cake rolls and fruit. I shared a glass.
No, that's not what you said. You did not say you shared a glass. You said you had a glass of tea and she had a large glass of tea. Now you're changing your fucking story. That's not what you said. I ain't got no reason to lie. See, now you're changing your story. Now you're trying to say now she took a little bit of your tea and drank a little bit of your tea. Boy, I'll tell you what.
A drink would be that. And never did I say a deputy came.
Yes, you did. Yes, he did. Jamie said that a deputy came to his house and spoke to him. No, his brother did not say it. Jamie Potter did. Jamie Earl Potter said that a deputy came to his house and woke him up. He was just getting in bed the night of the fire. And what are you saying? Jamie Potter, you said my daughter had cake rolls and fruit? Is that what he's saying? She ate some food?
Let me see.
Please tell me that's what he said.
He said he drank. Yeah, I didn't see anything where he said that.
Yeah. Is that what you're saying, Jamie? That she ate some food too that night? Oh, really? Well, here you go, Jamie. You're a fucking liar again. She has 60 milliliters of food in her system, which is nothing. 0. 60 milliliters. She had nothing in her stomach. She didn't eat that night. And she had colon contained formed stool, meaning what she had in her stomach 24 hours ago, before she died, was already forming into poop. So now you lied again, Jamie. How many more lies are you going to tell here? Now you said she ate dinner with cake rolls and fruit with you. She sipped off of your glass of tea. Boy, I'll tell you what, you're getting better at this, Jamie.
Pumpkin rolls I bought from...
What pumpkin rolls? She didn't have pumpkin rolls in her system.
Add words right on air.
Huh?
He said add words right on air.
Yeah. There ain't nothing on there. She didn't have no food in her system. So right there was another lie. There's another lie. You also said that Mary Ann was on the computer doing her taxes. Is that a lie too? You know, if you think you didn't tell no detectives that, you didn't tell a single detective that you ate food with her and that she drank tea with you. That's not what you told the detective.
Is that the paperwork the detective you received from the detective?
And like I said, that's where I keep coming back to what I said, you guys. If you are innocent of this fire, and you're innocent of what happened to that baby girl that night, you have no reason to lie. You have no reason to tell one single lie. Not one lie.
Where did I state that?
That's what I'm saying. Wait a minute. Where did I state that? You ain't made no statement. Detective Brown came to your house almost 7 years after the fire, 6 years after the fire, and sat down in your dining room and asked you some questions that you couldn't even answer, and didn't even take notes. He didn't write no statement because you didn't give a statement. And here we are going on 12 years. If you ate food with her that night, pumpkin rolls, and you drank tea with her that night, then why haven't you gone to the sheriff's office and told them that? Why haven't you gone and took a lie detector test? Why haven't you walked into the sheriff's office and said, I want to give you my DNA? Here's my DNA. Why haven't you done any of that to clear your name of wrongdoing of Mackenzie's? This one.
I bought pumpkin rolls and things from her from school. That's what I picked up. Nothing about eating anything with her.
You didn't buy pumpkin rolls.
But then he recently said
you didn't buy pumpkin rolls because you said you were there to pick up pizzas. 2 pizzas. That's what you told me. And don't call me a liar.
Wasn't it funny that he put in the comments earlier, oh, I did. It was cake rolls and fruit. I shared a glass, meaning she drank some of mine.
Right.
Stating that she did eat something with him.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's saying that now is he's fucking lying.
Yeah, he's contradicting himself.
It's pretty funny how he lied about that, huh?
Yeah, it's funny.
It's proven in the comments because he said recently she ate rolls and fruit with him.
Yeah.
And drank rolls.
And if I can recall, there's people that have kids that went to Miami Trace. Did anybody at Miami Trace have kids that sold pumpkin rolls? I want somebody to please tell me that pumpkin rolls were sold. Because even if you were going to sell pumpkin rolls, it would have been in October or November during the season of pumpkin, not in April or May or June.
He called you a liar and he said, all this...
Oh, I'm a liar, Jamie Potter, I'm a liar. I wish you would come to my house, dude, and tell me to my face I'm a liar. I wish you would come to my house and tell me to my face I'm a liar.
All this from the woman I've been trying to divorce for 2 years. That's where your so-called evidence is coming from. Ashley watched them take my DNA.
Then show me your receipt. If they took your DNA, then you ought to have the paperwork. You ought to have the paperwork that shows that they took your DNA and that Detective Brown signed that paper. That paper would be signed with Detective Brown's name on it that he took your DNA. Please show me that paper.
The funny thing is what Jamie just said, show where it says she ate. In fact, he put a comment, it's bluntly in the comments that he said she ate fruit with him and drank a glass of tea with him. So, what are we proving here? Everybody just read it. There's nothing to prove, Jamie. I've been there,
my wife, yeah, what? My wife, yeah, that's when you lied. See, we have that evidence too, Jamie, because I have still the bill of sale. I still have the title that you and my son signed. and then you turn around and went to the title place and lied and told them that the title was stolen. See, I have all that evidence, because you're a liar. And see, you had to come here while my wife was here, not when I was here. I'm here now. Well, hey, come on to 765 Petticourt. Come on over here. I'll be in my house. Come on up here, and we'll go live. We'll go live, buddy. We're already live in front of the public, and let me hear your stories, because I would love to hear your stories about that night.
Ask my wife. She still has my underwear. Then he replied, nope.
What?
He said, ask my wife. She still has my underwear. I don't know what he's referring to in that comment.
Yeah, I wasn't home. I wasn't home when he came and did what he did with the cops and stole the truck back from my son that my son gave him cash, $300 I think cash for. So, like I said, I have witnesses of that, but that's another story. That's Jamie Potter. That's how that whole fucking family is and everything.
You were right there.
He's a liar. I was at home. He's a liar. My son was here, my son's girlfriend, and my wife was here, and I'll call the police over here, and they'll tell you I wasn't here. Matter of fact, if Dwight Fox is on here, why don't Dwight Fox tell everybody where I was the day that Jamie came to my wife's house to steal a truck back? You know what, Jamie? I'm here now. I'm here right now. Come to 765 Petticourt Avenue. Pull up right in front of my house. You ain't got the balls, dude. You don't have the balls. Yeah, laugh out loud. You ain't got the balls, dude. Bring your ass. I'm right here. Come on. You know what? That tells me one thing and one thing only. You're guilty. You're involved in Mackenzie's fire. You're involved in Mackenzie's death. That's why your own brother in Kentucky brought out a gun and was going to kill you. He was going to shoot you at a family reunion. But I need to keep on going about how crazy that family is. Ain't it funny? Somebody called everybody down there a murderer, and then he goes in the house and gets a gun, and he's ready to shoot people. Well, yeah.
Dwayne Fox said you were with him. And I'm a place you know nothing about. I'm at work.
Yeah, he needs to be at work. Yeah, you're at work and you're watching the live feed, buddy. Yeah, you're really doing a good job there. Probably lied to your boss.
He said you don't know nothing about that.
I don't know nothing about it. His own family told the story.
I think he's talking about the working part. Being a smart ass.
I don't care. He can be a smart ass all he wants. He ain't got the balls to face me. He got the balls. And hey, here's what we'll do. Pick a day, Jamie. Pick a day that you're at work and come on over to my house and let's do a live feed together. We would love for you to be in front of me, tell your story. I won't call the cops. I won't beat your ass. Bring your ass over to my house and let's get it on, buddy. You want to tell your story? Pick a day. I'm home all the time. Pick a day, buddy. Pick a day. We'll do this. I'm not afraid to go live with you.
Yeah, he can actually go live where he's at.
Oh, he can go live where he's at?
Yeah, we can bring him onto the camera.
Oh, yeah, we can bring him on the camera, can't we?
Yeah, so if he really wants to prove his innocence, he can come on right now.
We want to give him time to get his paperwork.
Right.
He ought to have his paperwork, his lie detector test result. He ought to have his DNA receipt. He should have all that stuff to go live with. We'll give him time to find his paperwork.
I mean, if I was in his shoes, I'd be doing everything I can to prove my innocence, but if you're not innocent...
Yeah, everybody's telling them to join in.
Yeah. Be half of me, I'd be trying to prove my innocence from day one. But if you're guilty, you're not going to do that.
Right.
You're just going to avoid the situation as much as you can.
Alright, let's go back to the board. We all know that Jamie's one of them. We all know that he'll get an indictment. We know Jamie's involved. Like I said, if you ain't involved, you got no reason to lie. So now let's go to the fourth person, and that's William Potter. All right, that's his brother, William Potter. Okay, failed lie detector test. Twice, not once, but twice failed the lie detector test. The next day after the fire, he was riding around on a bicycle. Asking questions about everything. Number two, he had the keys. He had Marianne and Kenny's keys to everything, to their house, to their cars, to the semi-truck, everything. So this is all right now that we have on William, and there's a possibility. I'm not going to say it's a fact yet, but I can find out.
Jamie, you didn't push the button to join. We'd have got a notification to add you.
Add me.
Approve.
Is he on there?
Add.
Is he on there?
Waiting right now.
Oh, good.
We're adding Jamie Potter right now, guys. Let's see if he accepts it. Jamie is trying to.
Hey.
Is he on there?
Yeah.
Here I am.
Your picture, Jamie.
Where's your picture at?
Okay. I said my statements were I was there picking up shit that I bought from her that night that she sold from school. She got me a glass of tea. I never said anything about she had a large glass of tea. She got me a glass of tea and she took a couple drinks. Her mother sent her to bed. I gathered the things and I left.
Gather what things?
The shit I bought from her that she was selling through school. Pumpkin rolls, chocolate rolls.
School teacher
Pizza
said
rolls.
they didn't have no sale.
She sold it through something.
Can't hear him. He keeps cutting in and out.
I can't hear him either.
Because I'm at work.
Because he's at work.
Anybody want to see the trucks and the whole shop that's out here? I'm at fucking work.
I don't care where you're at. I don't care where you're at.
I don't care if you do or not. This whole thing started with you and me because I took a truck back from your son who tried to steal it from me.
Really? He tried to steal it from you and you signed the title. You signed the title.
I gave him a truck. He was supposed to have gotten me a title.
No,
4
Marianne
days
stole
later,
it.
he didn't give me the title. I took my truck back.
No, Marianne stole it.
Nope, Marianne got me the title like she stated she would. That's why she ended up with the truck like it was supposed to have been. Is this why Harrison's living with Marianne now?
Yeah, that is why.
Oh. So the kid, so one of your sons that hates this woman that you talk about so profusely is living with her. Because he would rather be in your house, right?
Hey, he's 19 years old.
Let's
He
talk
moved out
about
on
the
his
man
own.
you are, Rick. Let's talk about the man you are. You live with my mother. My mother finally had enough of you. You spit in her face, shoved her over a stove, and
Oh my God, he's lying. You know what? I'm going to beat your ass. How about that?
Mother, you know where I live? You just told everybody.
You're damn right.
I've been
You're
there
damn
for
right.
2 solid
Because you know why? People need to know where a person lives that messes with children.
Show me your proof. You talk about this proof shit all the time. You're getting this from a cunt that I'm trying to divorce. I've been trying to divorce for 2 years.
Really?
She doesn't want me to have anything to do with my children, so she made all these false statements.
Really?
Fayette County, DCI, they've all had my phones and everything for
Right there's Ryan.
September
Right, hey,
22nd,
right there's
2016.
Ryan McFarland's
I'm
signature.
talking to you on the phone that they had.
Right there's Ryan McFarland's signature
On what?
on your lie detector test.
What's it say?
I told everybody what it said. It said, based upon my training,
What was the question I failed
based
on, Rick?
upon on my training experience, it is my opinion that the subject did not respond truthfully to the relevant question number 3.
What was relevant question number 3?
Was you taking pictures of your daughter for pleasure for yourself?
That was not question 3, Rick.
Then tell us what it was.
I passed that one. Question 3. The first 3 times he stated it was, have you ever taken a picture of your child naked? I stated no. But yes, I have, just as you have. I've taken pictures of my daughter when she was first fucking born, naked, because she had no fucking clothes on. That's what I failed, dumbass.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass. I sure am.
You are. You are a dumbass. Williams failed who was he with that night? And in order to not get his girlfriend in trouble, he stated he was alone. He failed it 3 times before he told him he was with his girlfriend. That then got her in trouble by her stepfather.
Yeah, that ain't what he failed. He failed that he didn't know nothing about the
that's
fire.
What he failed. That's what he failed.
No, it ain't. I got his lie detector test, boy.
You got mine too, and you don't know, evidently don't know the questions that were asked.
Really? I don't know, huh?
And let me ask you another question, Rick. How did you get my information?
Don't worry about how I got your information.
That's not public record. That's not public record.
Don't worry about how I got your information.
From my kind of an ex-wife, soon-to-be ex-wife. I know where you got it.
Right here, Williams lie detector test, both of them. Now, you want me to read you?
Where's the question?
Now, you want me to read you his questions that he failed on all the questions?
You just read mine and you.
William Potter denied ever doing anything to start Mary Ann's house fire and denied starting Mary Ann's house fire. Potter also denied ever seeing Mary Ann's house fire started. Potter denied knowing Mary Ann's house burned before Jeremy, his brother, woke him up. Failed. Number 2, William Potter denied setting Mary Ann Branham's house fire and denied knowing for sure who did it. He also denied helping anyone set Mary Ann's house fire and denied seeing Mary Ann's house fire started. Failed. Number 2. Failed. Right there's the test. Right there it is, boy.
Yeah.
Boy. I got your boy. Rick, how many times have we been face to face?
Right there it is.
Huh? How many
Right
times?
there it is.
How many times, Rick?
I don't run off. I went to his own house. So right there, your brother failed a lie detector test twice. Twice. I can't hear what he's saying.
Okay, well, I don't care. It's not me. You know I don't even talk to William. You know I don't talk to Mary Ann that
If
much.
it ain't you, then
You got me in there.
If it ain't you, then take a lie detector test.
That you were trying to steal from your
If it ain't you, take a lie detector test.
I've taken a lie
No,
detector
you didn't.
test. I've
No, you
taken DNA. I've taken all this shit.
Show me your receipts.
I don't have shit, dummy. My wife's got all my shit. She kept my underwear when I left. I left with a pair of pants and a pair of shirt and a pair of underwear. That was it. She kept my hats and everything else.
Ryan McFarland, call Ryan McFarland. He's the one who told me you did not take a lie detector test.
I don't even know who Ryan McFarland's the last. He's well out. He just gave me a lie detector test.
On your child. On your child, not on Mackenzie.
Okay. So because all this other evidence is lost, my lie detector test couldn't have been lost.
No, it could have been. You're right. I'll give you that. It could have been lost.
I'm telling you, I sat down with that detective in his office 4 or 5 times before I even met my cunt of a wife. Before I even met her. The fucking shit she's feeding you about I've said this and I've done that. That's because she's trying to get a case to beat me of getting my fucking kids back.
Well, I'll give you
I have no clue. I must have lost your feed completely. I can't hear shit except rant, rant every now and then.
I'm out. Call the sheriff's office. Start pushing for Mackenzie's justice. Did you hear me now? Jamie, are you there?
There's a lag in one of the connections.
We lost him. All right, well, we lost Jamie Potter. We lost Jamie Potter. That was a good one. That was a real good one. So back to like I told Jamie, I said if he's so innocent of what went on with Mackenzie, and he's got no doing wrong with Mackenzie, then he needs to go to the sheriff's office and push for justice for his niece, just like I'm fighting for justice for my daughter Mackenzie. He needs to push and fight for justice for his niece, because they ain't done that. None of them have. None of them has ever questioned any of this stuff. None of them has. So if he's innocent of what he's done, and he ain't told no lies, then he should not have any problems getting with me and going to that sheriff's office with me and telling his story of what he saw and what was going on that night. Right or wrong. Right or wrong. He has no problem whatsoever doing that with me.
Ashley Hayes, if I had his stuff still, I would have gladly given it over.
All right, well, back to, like I said, one of the main things is, like I said, I have a copy of where Ryan McFarland said that Jamie did not take these tests. And the detective is the one on the phone with me saying he did not take these tests. Jamie saying he did. Jamie can go up there. He can get copies of his lie detector test. He can get copies of his DNA test like I have. I have my DNA paperwork. You know, this is a murder crime, and I surely wouldn't lose anything that was given to me or I signed something with my name on it. That's the main thing. I would not give that up. Anybody would not have that receipt that shows I gave my DNA to a crime. So he can go get copies of them, and he can go on a live feed and he can show the copies of his DNA and a copy of his lie detector test. And I got no problem with that. And we can go to that sheriff's office together, and he can tell his story of exactly everything that happened that night. But like I said, I've got the coroner's report here. The coroner's report said that child had no food in her system, and she had nothing to drink in her system. So that's what I've got to go by. That is the toxicology report from the Montgomery County. These are professionals. They know what they're doing. So it's there in her report that she had nothing in her stomach whatsoever. I see there's other Potters on here tonight. I love it. I love when the Potter family and Joyce McGinnis and all them, I love it when they get involved in this, because they don't know shit. They don't know nothing. They have no clue what's going on about this case or anything else. Joyce is the Potter family's aunt. She's a troublemaker. She runs her mouth about everything. She don't know shit. That's who Joyce McGinnis is. And if it ain't Joyce McGinnis, is Joyce Lutz, which is Joyce Camp. And everybody knows that Joyce Lutz, is the drama queen of Fayette County, always has her nose in everybody's business, and also was told by the fire marshal to keep her nose out of Mackenzie's case. So it's either one of the two of those Joyces. And I agree with you, Susan. Like I said, the bottom line is, if they were innocent of this crime, they would do everything in their power, to clear their names. Number two, if Marianne and Kenny didn't know who murdered Mackenzie, wouldn't they want to know who tried to murder them that night too? And wouldn't they be notifying every day the law enforcement to ask, hey, have you found out who this person is that killed my little girl? I mean, you wouldn't want to know because that person tried to kill you that night. If you was asleep in your bed, they tried to murder you too. And you ain't once called the sheriff's office and asked them who tried to kill you. And I know you weren't afraid of anybody because y'all went on a vacation to Myrtle Beach. The bottom line is, I have the evidence. I've showed my evidence. I proved my point that, like I said, these people failed lie detector tests. These people have told lie after lie after lie after lie. Everybody's heard Marianne and on the tape cassettes and telling her side of the story of, what they were doing, what they were wearing. And let me tell you something. Anytime a person thinks that a pair of shoes is more important than their own child that's in a house burning, is guilty. I don't care who you are, you're guilty. If you go and knock on a person's door and ask for a pair of shoes and don't say anything to those people that your child's in a house that's on fire, you're guilty. You're guilty of that crime. And like I said, when I go for the wrongful death lawsuit, I will prove that Marianne and Kenny were involved in this 100% of the death of Mackenzie. I will prove that their brother set this fire. I will prove every bit of it in my wrongful death lawsuit. I'm going to take time to calm down. I'm going to read some comments on here so I can answer some people's questions. I'm gonna play a song while I calm down, and then we'll start back up. Wrong thing. I need to get my head cleared.
It's a little heated moment right there.
Huh?
So there's a little heated right there.
I'm glad he got on there. I'm glad he got on there. comments real quick.
Spirit of death, you have no place here. I command you to leave in Yeshua's name. Spirit of fear, you have no place here. I command you to leave in Jesus' name. You're not welcome here. So go.
I'm good. Let's go. All right. I saw a comment here from Joyce McGinnis. I love it. I love it when they get involved. You know, here's my thing, and I've said this before, over and over and over. If you was innocent of this crime, and that whole family, and that's a big family. There's a big family over there. If they were innocent of this crime, they would do everything they possibly could to work with me to prove who did this crime, who killed Mackenzie. Instead, they get on here and they badmouth me. They try to bring up everything they can on me to make me look like the bad guy. I'm such a bad guy, but I've spent 12 years of my life since the day I was told from the fire marshal and the detective that my daughter was murdered and that her house was set on fire and was ruled an arson. And every day since then, I have worked on this case. I've called the sheriff's office. I have gone to the sheriff's office. I have been in 20-something interviews. I've talked to more detectives than anybody has. I have done more homework on this, digging up stuff, asking for pictures, asking for witnesses to talk to me and everything else. Here's the main thing. You know, you got to think about this. If Mary Ann was innocent, then why in the world is she not helping me find the person that tried to kill her and that killed Mackenzie? See? And it makes no sense whatsoever that she could sit there in Tip City, Ohio, and not think about any of this, not ask any questions, not call. She has only made maybe 5 calls to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office in 12 years asking about this case. And one of the questions she asked is, why ain't I cleared? That was one of her questions she asked. Other than that, she ain't asked about nothing. It's mostly been, can you get Donald Branham to remove this picture off his Facebook? Can you make Donald Branham shut up and quit talking about this? That's what she's called the sheriff's office and asked. So, like I said, it goes back to Joyce McGinnis. You know, she's a piece of shit. You know, and I could go on about her story and her history and her kids and everything else, but that ain't what this is about. This is about Mackenzie Taylor Branham. So they can sit there and say whatever they want to say about me. All I know is Mackenzie Taylor Branham was murdered. She was murdered in a house that was ruled an arson. People have lied that live in that house since day one. They've changed their stories 100 times over. We have witnesses that know that they bought gas cans. We have witnesses that know they were at the bar that night. We have witnesses that know that Mary Ann has said that the dog did it. We have her own statement blaming the dog. We have her own statement saying that Mackenzie died peacefully and she knew she was going to die. That's out of Mary Ann's own mouth. We have Mary Ann that said that she called Kitty's mom and dad. So her family to sit on here and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. How? That's Mary Ann. Mary Ann's the one that made these comments. She's the one that said, this is what happened that night. This is what went down. She has changed her story 13 times, and you're going to sit there as a family member and say, I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is Mary Ann that actually said it out of her own mouth? I don't think I can talk as Mary Ann. We all know it was Mary Ann. We all know it was Mary Ann at the bar that spoke to me, and we all know that Mary Ann said the lies that she said on the tape. She said she went out the front door. She said she went out the garage door. She said she went out the back of the garage. She said she went, Kenny said they went out the window together. Too many stories. Too many stories. And like I said, if you're innocent, you have no reason to tell the first lie. You have no reason to tell that first lie. So that's how I feel about that family that want to bash me because of what I'm doing. The only reason you're bashing me is I'm so close. I'm so close to what happened that night that's going to put 2 of your family members away for the rest of their lives. And that's William Potter and Mary Ann for a fact. That's a fact that those 2 are involved 110% without a doubt. And that's the only reason that family is pissed at me. But I don't care how pissed they are at me. Anybody that knows what happened to Mackenzie that night is going to hell when they die. Because that is God's child. And you're going to sit there and hold information about a child's death. Everyone on that side of that family knows pretty much what happened that night. They all know who set that fire. They all know why they're holding that information. Yeah, Linda Jordan, she's another one. She's another joke. I could care less that she watches. Like I said, these are people that think Mary Ann's so innocent, but they can't go live. They can't go live, and they can't go to the sheriff's office, and they can't come to me with one proof of evidence that they don't have nothing, no involvement in this fire. That Mary Ann and William and Kenny have no involvement. They can't bring me one piece of evidence to prove they have nothing to do with this fire. None. But they can get on here and run their mouth. What they call the Facebook trolls? That's what they are. They're the Facebook trolls. They try to stir up the pot. They try to get drama. But you know what? It ain't going to stop Mackenzie's army. Mackenzie's army is stronger than 3 or 4 people that are pissed off because I'm proving who killed Mackenzie Taylor Branham. And I'm going to prove it. And it's going to happen. And when it happens, we're all going to sit back and look at these trolls. This troll, Linda Jordan Pack and Joyce McGinnis. We're going to look at those trolls and say, told you so, told you so. So like I said, I know what I have. I know what evidence I have. I know what I've talked to. I've talked to the Montgomery County coroner. I've talked to Fayette County coroner, Messner. I've talked to them. We all know what happened that night. It's getting the Fayette County. See, you got to understand. See, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, all their job was in this was to go out, collect evidence, build it together, present it to the prosecutor. Prosecutor takes that and he goes to a grand jury and he gets an indictment to go and get the ones that are being charged with those crimes. The only people that's holding this up is the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. We all know that Donald Branham has enough evidence here to bring in people and get an indictment for them and go get them. We know that it's there. And I can tell you right now, I know Mary Ann knows about the gas cans because, like I said, she two-wayed me. And her exact words on that two-way was, Kenny is still in the sheriff's office being questioned. I'm done. They keep telling us our stories are not adding up, and they want to know where the gas cans are. That was out of Marianne's own mouth to me on her cell phone that she had the night of the fire. The exact same cell phone, she two-wayed me and talked to me and told me that's what was going on at the sheriff's office when they brought him in for questioning. So they already knew about the gas cans. They already knew that Kenny purchased gas cans. My question to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office is, why ain't Kenny arrested? Why ain't Marianne arrested? Why ain't they charged for this crime of Mackenzie's death and the arson? There's enough evidence there. There's enough circumstantial evidence there. She can't give you a name of who was watching Mackenzie while they were at the bar, because I believe the reason they were at the bar is they knew what was happening at the house. And I believe they were going to come back and act like, oh my God, my house was on fire, my daughter died, you know, what happened, da da da. But I think their planning of what was going to happen that night got interrupted and mistakes were made. Because I can tell you one thing, Kenny being a 12-year volunteer fireman tells me he didn't set the fire, because he would have never splashed fuel all over the walls, because he knew they would have noticed that. But William Potter would have made that mistake, and he would have hurried up and splashed the gasoline all over that house and then light the fire. He would have made that mistake because he was scared and he was doing a crime. So that I do know for a fact. And I believe Marianne and Kenny, I believe they probably didn't even come back to the house. I believe they started, that's when they came from the bar. Hell, her shoes were probably in a bushes somewhere by the bar. And they came back, they started banging on doors. The house was already engulfed. William ran down the railroad tracks, cut through the yard, right into his front door, went upstairs and got into bed. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened that night. And there's a reason everybody keeps saying, wonder why. Why would they kill Mackenzie? Why would they kill Mackenzie? I can tell you why they killed Mackenzie. Because whoever's DNA, that male white DNA that they found, but then let it become contaminated, that white male DNA is the person that was messing with Mackenzie. And that exactly, and I can tell you right now, there wasn't enough smoke inside her body. They said there was only smoke on her autopsy report in her throat area, meaning she didn't get a lot of smoke down inside of her, so she wasn't breathing. So I believe my daughter was probably dead, and the only person that can clear this up is Jamie Potter. Jamie Potter's the only one that can clear this up, because he said he was there between 11:30 and midnight that night, and he was there between that time, and he was the last one to see Mackenzie alive. So he's the only one that can tell us for a fact whether he did or didn't, and the only way we'll know is to take a lie detector test. But the thing is, I believe my daughter was already gone. I believe she already did. I believe the fire was to cover up what happened that night.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So they said the smoke made it to her throat, not in her lungs.
Not in her lungs.
So at that point, she was already deceased before the fire. Because she would have breathed it in.
Right.
She would have been in her lungs.
Right.
Then she would have died from smoke and, what do you say, inflation? Smoke inflation,
yeah.
Or something like that? So then, in fact, she was dead before the fires happened.
And that's what I believe. I believe by just the autopsy report saying that the smoke was only in her throat area. I think they even say larynx is what they say. Larynx. And no otherwhere. So there was no smoke in her lungs. There was no smoke damage down in her belly.
There's no
stomach. So that tells me that that child
she was deceased
before the fire.
There's no way around it, because, you know, you read a bunch of stories about people dying from fires. They usually die from smoke inflammation, where they pass out at the doors and they find it in their lungs. But it's not found in her lungs, it's found in her throat. Clearly indicates she was deceased before the fire has started. And the fire, if started in the front of the house, correct?
Yeah. The truth is, everybody, and this is what I'm going to say. The truth is, no matter what, no mother, and I haven't found a mother yet anywhere in the United States, including Canada, all the women I've talked to in Canada, I have not yet found one mother that would say, I would have left my child there and saved my own self. Haven't found one yet. The bottom line of it is, the truth of this whole thing is, no mother would leave their child in a house burning. They wouldn't do it. They would not leave their child there. And for the Potter family to sit there and talk about this and bash me and everything, let me tell you a story. Their aunt had a house fire where the husband set the house on fire. They lost children in that fire. But that mother ran into that house and saved 3 of the children. And she literally even had her nightgown was melted into her skin where she saved 3 of her children. And I think she lost 3. And it was an ex-husband that set the house on fire. But that mother, that aunt on the Potter side of the family did not run away from her children. She ran in the fire and saved 3 of her children. 3 of them. But Mary Ann, mom had a house fire. And Mary Ann ran up the stairs and saved her brother, her other brother, and her sister. Woke them up, got them out of the bed, brought them down, and the fire was upstairs. This fire, the fire was upstairs. And saved her 2 brothers and her sister. But her own daughter, that she says that she loved and endeared, she left in that house and let her burn in that fire. Explain that one, Potter family. Break time. You can leave it on.
Doubt, you have no place here. I command you to name in Yeshua's name. Envy and jealousy, you have no place here. I command you to live in Jesus' name. Go back from this you came. Our God reigns. Our God reigns. We claim this ground in Yeshua's name, 'cause our God reigns. Our God reigns. Our God reigns. The battles are won, have no fear, 'cause God reigns here. Anger and rage, guilt and shame, I command you to live in Yeshua's name. Depression, anxiety, addiction, infirmity, I command you to live in Jesus' name. And go back from whence you came. Our God reigns. Our God reigns. We claim this ground in Jesus' name, 'cause our God reigns. Our God reigns. Our God reigns. The battles are won, have no fear, 'cause God reigns.
He said, here's this go that comes with you. I got the final down there. Hopefully, That's right. Right. Why do we throw it all over? Did you hear what he said? I have nothing to do with my brother William or Marianne. Then fight for justice for Mackenzie. When I go protest, be there. That meeting one of the deputies of the there's no doubt he has overcome the world. God reigns here. There's no doubt he has overcome the world. God reigns here. There's no doubt he has overcome the
Prosecutor.
All right, everybody, I'm back. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Good question, and I opinion to that statements. Give me a thumbs up.
I don't see any.
I'm live. Can everybody hear me?
All right. Yep.
All right. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right. Here's what I want to do. I just want to do this real quick, if everybody will, please. I want to ask a question, and then I want your honest opinion on this. And I want the honest opinion. If you have a house fire and your child's in that house fire, would you leave your child? Is your life more important than your own child? I want everybody to answer that question for me. Fuck no, hell no, hell no. I would never leave my child. Never. No, I would die for my child.
My son did not want to leave that Marilyn killed. Oh, that's your mother, isn't it?
So right now, everybody's saying they would never leave their child. And that's the main thing that we have to focus on, is Marianne did leave her child. And the thing of it is, she told the newspaper the day after the fire, when she gave her story to the newspaper, that she even talked to Mackenzie, that she told her to go to the window, but then didn't even go to the window. She even told everybody that she ran between John Mulford's house and this old elderly lady that lived on the corner, and then ran up the street. She was a block away from her child. How would she even be able to hear her child if her child was alive and screaming for help? She wasn't even at the house. She wasn't even at the bottom of below the window, either window. She wasn't even at either of the windows. Instead, her and her boyfriend ran up the street a block away from the house fire. So, how can you sit there and say, this Potter family that wants to get on here and make their comment, how can you sit there and say that she's a mother and that she's suffering and that she's got lost? She left my daughter in a house. So, that's the big question here. And like I said, I'm not going to keep arguing with people on there saying that she's a mother and everything like that. And like I said, I've never claimed to be a hero. I never claimed to be trying to get an award for what I'm doing. I'm doing this because I'm a father and because I love my daughter and because I want justice for Mackenzie. And like I said, even Kenny alone, being a volunteer fireman, he knows the golden rule. And even he ran up the street. But he made sure that they saved their dog. And the fire marshal himself said that dog had no smoke smell on it and no singed hair at all. So how can Marianne's story, because we all heard it, that the dog knocked over the heater if that dog wasn't even in the house? Like I said, I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. I ain't got nothing to prove to those Potter family. I have facts here. I have receipts here. I have photographs here. I have pictures here. I got pictures, and I can show you a picture. Here's a good picture right here. This is probably one of the best pictures right here. I want you guys to remember that. I want you to show you this picture. So if everybody, forget this Crystal Barber on there running her mouth. Let her run her mouth. Forget who she is. We don't care. Bottom line is, this is about Mackenzie. Now, I'm going to show you guys a photograph. And remember, Kenny's statement was he bought the gas cans because he needed to mow the yard. So I want everybody to see this picture, okay, of this yard. I have a great picture of the yard. And I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't no grass hardly in that yard. I want y'all to look at that. There's hardly any grass in that yard. That's the side. This side of the house is Marianne and Kenny's bedroom. Okay? And look at that yard. It's mostly dirt. It's mostly dirt. There's a little bit of green grass right there. Now, all right, bring that. Right here is the grass. This is the other side of the yard. See that grass right there? It's green, but there's hardly any green. There's bald spots here and there.
Face it towards the light a little bit.
Hardly any grass there. Look at that. Now, this is the front yard. Here's the grass in the front yard. See all that dead grass laying on top of the green grass? See that? That tells me that yard was already mowed. At least 3 days ago. So he wasn't buying gasoline. He wasn't buying new gas cans to mow a yard. So right there, once again, here I am. I got actual photographs of the yard. We know he bought gas cans. The sheriff's office knows he got gas cans. Supposedly he was going to mow a yard that was mostly dirt, hardly any grass. The yard was already mowed. There's dead grass laying on the fresh grass. And so the yard was already mowed. So right there again, there's another lie. But there's facts that I've proven. Again, another fact proven. And I can tell you right now, another thing too. Who in the hell goes to a motel that was donated to them because people, it really hurt people that this family lost a child, goes and gets in the swimming pool and has chicken fights and swims the same day their child is pronounced dead? I have not yet found anybody that is innocent of a crime that goes and parties and drinks and swims in a swimming pool. And this is, and talks about her vacation, her, even at the funeral, her own daughter's funeral, she's talking about her vacation. She's talking about asking for a job, that when she gets back from vacation, she has a job so that she can have a job. Who in the right mind, what mother does that? And you're going to sit there, Linda Jordan Pack, Joyce McGinnis, and say that Marianne's a mother? Man, you all got some real issues up here. Some bad issues up here in this side of your head. And if you think that, I surely wouldn't want neither one of you all as a mother. I'm trying to watch the comments.
Gotcha.
What time? Do you have a time on that? Like what time?
9:01.
9:01. Okay, we're good. What time?
I just flipped the camera somehow. How do you flip this back?
Did you mess up the video?
Got it. There it is. It flipped on me. It went back though. It went back.
Oh, went back.
Mm-hmm. The Wi-Fi's being shitty. I'm glad I'm not a real cameraman.
Now I'm going to ask another question, and I just want an honest opinion. Does anybody think what I am doing, what I am presenting, what I am asking for, does anybody think that I should not be doing this? Wow, that was a good one.
I like that comment. Just because you lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I like that one.
I like that too. That's true.
Yeah.
Just because you lay down and have a baby don't make you a mother.
Makes you.
Giving your life for your child makes you a parent, makes you a mother.
Makes you real.
They're talking about you.
Oh man, that's dirty.
You are doing the right thing. Keep fighting. I'm reading all the comments now.
Absolutely not. Keep fighting. Good day of job, bro. Just showing the love.
Yeah, I see that. Now, I sat there and I watched everybody, and I seen everybody, and I appreciate everybody saying that they back me 110% for what I'm doing for Mackenzie. But you know, after reading everybody's name on there, I didn't see not one of the Potter families or the Mossbarger family say you're doing the right thing. Keep fighting. Keep pushing forward. I didn't see not one of them on there make a comment saying that they were proud of what I am doing for their niece, their granddaughter, their cousin. Not one. Not one of them made a comment. Like I said, this is all about Mackenzie. Mackenzie Taylor Branham. And I can guarantee you, if Mackenzie would have been alive and it would have been one of her brothers that died, my daughter would be standing right here with me fighting this without any reason not to. That's the thing. In 2006, a week after I buried my daughter on a Thursday, when the fire marshal called me and told me to come down to the sheriff annex building, and they sat in that room with me and they told me that this was a arson homicide, I never hesitated. I never thought. All I thought about was move forward. Let's get the people that did this. Never once did I go on a vacation. Never once did I go and swim. Never once did I go to Walt Disney World 18 million times. Not once did I not call the sheriff's office. Not once did I not call the coroner's office. Not once did I not call BCI, the FBI, ATF, the fire marshals. Not once did I not make a phone call at least once or twice a week asking, how is it going? What's going on? Why ain't this happening? Why ain't this? That's the whole thing. As a parent, when you lose a child from a murder, you ask questions. Bottom line, you ask. You get in their faces and you ask, what happened? Why did this happen? Who did this? Are they caught yet? Those are the questions you ask. Not once do you say, oh, my daughter died. You need to let her rest in peace. She would not want this. That's what the mother said. Mackenzie would not want this. Let her rest in peace. Who cares who killed her? Not once would I ever say that about my daughter. But the mother did. The mother did. So, you know, I sit here and I think about this, and I can tell you right now, 110%, Mary Ann is guilty of what happened to Mackenzie Taylor that night in that fire. She's guilty. Her actions speak louder than words. Everything that those witnesses that I talked to that said what she did and what she was doing and that she was barely crying, every one of them, it showed Mary Ann's actions. How do you sit on a porch? My question is, how do you sit on a front porch and not go to the ambulance when the fireman is bringing your child down the street? Why ain't you at the bottom of the ladder with the firemen when they're bringing Mackenzie out of the house? Why ain't you at the hospital when they took Mackenzie by the ambulance and took her to the hospital? All of those three things any parent would have done. Any parent, if they wouldn't have died in the house with their child trying to save their child, they would have at least been at the bottom of the ladder when the firemen brought her out, or they would have been at the back of the ambulance when they put Mackenzie in the ambulance, or they would have been at the hospital when Mackenzie arrived.
We're on 15%.
So, with all those things she didn't do. Instead, she sat on a porch until they came up and told her Mackenzie was dead. I don't understand that. How do you answer that one, Marianne? Please answer that. Everybody would like to know the answer to that. You move that chair over closer. Oh, good point, Mom. My mom made a good point here, and I want everybody to see this. Okay, this is a so-called mother. Now, we have 3 kids together. We have 3 children together, and those 3 children that we have together, there's the 2 boys, and now my daughter was murdered. Marianne knew that my daughter was murdered when she went on her vacation. She knew that they were murdered. And she knew that somebody, supposedly to her story, took our daughter's life. Now, we have 2 sons, Harrison and Douglas. And those 2 boys were at home with me. And I had to explain to them what happened to their sister. And while Marianne went on vacation, that was so important to her, was her vacation. You know, vacation. So many people knew about this vacation before she even went on the vacation. And when she went down on vacation, here she is, you know, got $1,000 condo. I showed a picture of her, you know, where she's sipping wine with Kenny, looking at the ocean. And the first thing I noticed, I looked at her eyes. I looked at Marianne's eyes. And I even remember at the funeral home, the same thing. I looked at her face. And the reason I looked at her face is a mother that just loses a child that you carried for 9 months and you bonded with. Their eyes would be so swollen from crying. Her eyes would be bloodshot. I mean, and you know what? There wasn't nothing. Her eyes were normal and perfect. I got pictures of her down in Myrtle Beach, man, where she had her hair all fixed up and wearing her Harley Davidson t-shirt and her makeup's on, and her eyes are just as normal as can be, not swollen, not, you couldn't even tell that she lost a child. Couldn't even look at it and tell. But while I was back here with my 2 boys and doing everything with my sons and trying to explain to them what just happened to their sister, the only thing that she could do was send a postcard. And I ain't lying when I said she sent a postcard. instead of being here with her two sons and trying to find out what just happened, instead she's at Myrtle Beach and at this other place. And I'll show you that picture too. It's a good picture, Kenny. But they're at Myrtle Beach with their, motorcycles and all that stuff. And she never thinks about her kids, her two boys that just lost their sister in a fire. Instead, she sends them postcards. And right here's the postcards. This is the postcard right here. This is the other postcard right here. Here is, and right here it says, Florence, South Carolina, May 17th, 2006. May 17th. My daughter was murdered April 27th, 2006. Do the math. And right there it is, Douglas Branham. Right there. There's a postcard she sent my boy. Right here's a postcard she sent Harrison. Right there. That's all it meant to them. 10 cents. Maybe 30 cents.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 cents. So she spent 60 cents but got $1,000 condo. But she spent 60 cents to send 2 postcards to her sons that were just told that their sister was dead. And that I actually even helped carry their sister's coffin to lay her at rest. And this is all she thought about them was 2 postcards right here. 2 30-cent postcards.
Got that picture of Ken? I believe it's somewhere in the front with all the other papers.
Probably is. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
And, here's another thing, too. Here's a picture of Kenny in Myrtle Beach, right after my daughter's death. And here's a picture of them. See, they make sure they took pictures of their fun trip they were on. Here's a picture of Kenny. And he's got a hat on thing, and it says, I miss prison sex. This is what they thought about Mackenzie. And you're only talking a couple weeks after Mackenzie's death. And this is what they thought about it. Right here. Ooh, I lost my eyeball.
Right there.
And then, this piece of shit, this man that Potter family accepts being with Marianne and thinks he's the greatest man that walked the face of the earth. And they know the facts. But this is the piece of shit. And then this is what he does right here. This is where also he spent the community's money. He went and got a tattoo of my daughter put on his chest. Yeah, he got a tattoo of her put on his chest right after she was killed. This is how he appreciated Mackenzie, right here. Bring
Yeah, me neither. I don't either. Danny Birch, this guy raped my grandchildren. Don't be fooled. Who is he talking about? What?
He's talking about me, Kenny. You may get to enjoy it. Is he talking about Kenny?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's exactly who he's talking about because he didn't comment before about anything else regarding that, but I think that's who he's talking about, Kenny. This guy raped my grandchildren. Don't be.
Danny Birch, if you're on here still, who are you talking about? Who are you talking about raped your grandchildren? This happened in Fayette County, PA, right? Who is he talking about?
I'm not Danny. Hurry. I'm not sure. Kathy Ann Dukin, she knows something about it?
Who? No, they're saying Fayette County, Ohio.
Oh.
They're thinking that this guy is from another county.
Oh.
But you never know. I mean, Kenny, we all know that Kenny beat a 2-year-old in South Dakota for peeing the bed. We know that's a fact. And that's what I said. How can this Potter family think and call this man a hero when he didn't save a child's life that was burning in a house and he beat a 2-year-old in another state for peeing the bed? But they think that Kenny's the greatest man. They invite him to the family reunions. They think he's the greatest guy in the world. How? How can he be the greatest guy in the world? But because of what I'm doing, I'm a piece of shit. Right? I'm a piece of shit because I'm trying to get justice for Mackenzie. But Kenny is a hero. That's why I could care less what this Potter family has to say. I could care less what they got to say about me or anything. Like I said, the truth's going to come out. Me and my mom's been working on this very hard. My mom's 71 years old. We've kind of already got what we're going to put out. I'm going to write it up. I'm going to present it. And if the Fayette County Sheriff's Office ignores this one again, like I said, I'm not afraid to go stand in front of the Sheriff's Office with the media, with the press, and have them answer my questions.
That Danny guy, he's a troll. He's from New York.
All right, so Danny's a troll, everybody. Yes, Holly. The state of South Dakota said that he had to leave the state of South Dakota and is never allowed to return to the state of South Dakota. He's never allowed to live there. But this Kentucky family, this Potter family, this Joyce McGinnis, this Linda Jordan Pat, they all think he's the greatest man to walk the face of earth. They think he's a hero. But he beat a 2-year-old for peeing the bed. He hung my children on hooks. He sicked a dog on my son. He called them nasty words. He threw shoes at them. He locked them in closets. He locked them in their bedrooms with padlocks. He made my daughter sleep in her urine. He made my daughter put her pea panties on her head. But he's a hero. He's the hero. I'm the piece of shit. That tells you what kind of a family that is. What kind of a family we're dealing with. That just shows their character and what kind of people they are. That they think this man's a hero. They think he's the greatest guy in the world. They invite him to their family reunion and feed him watermelon and chicken and corn on the cob. Yeah, he's the greatest guy. Hell, Mary Potter spends all kinds of times with him. Every time she gets a chance. You know, that's what I said. He's the hero. I'm the bad guy. Kenny was charged. He actually did, I think he did 3 days in jail. He was charged with it. And like I said, I had the report on it. But I know somebody has it. I'm going to get it. I want to read it to you guys because you all need to listen to what Kenny tells the cop in the cop car. And it is sad. It is sad what he tells that cop of why he beat that 2-year-old. It's sad. It'll turn everybody's stomach. But yes, he was arrested. He was in jail, I think 3 days. And from what I was told, Mike Stiegels is the one that went down to South Dakota and got him and brought him back to Fayette County. But whoever went to, and that was in 1999. So whoever went to South Dakota and brought that monster back to Ohio, he allowed that monster to be involved in murdering my daughter.
There's your question. Did you talk to the bartender?
No, I have not yet talked to the bartender. I found out that bartender that night, I was told, is friends with Mary Ann and is not going to talk to me, which is fine with me. The sheriff's office knows who the bartender was that night, so they can either go there and answer the sheriff's questions, or they can be like everybody else and keep the secret to themselves. All right, it's a little after 9 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and play some of these tapes. What I'm gonna start with first is, I think what I'm gonna do is, all right, this is 2017. This is 2017. Just a few things. This is 2017, and this is 2014. Okay, so I know which one. What are we on, 3?
Yeah.
So I want to go to one. Find out which one is one. Let's see which one is one. That one's 1. So we're going to skip 2. Take this one out, put this one in. And then I want to go to 1. All right, what I'm going to do is, I want everybody, this is in 2014 when I finally had enough and I went to the commissioners and we discussed some stuff at the commissioner. And then there's actually 4 CDs. So I'm going to play them. Hopefully, we can hear everything, and then I'll go to the cassette tapes. So let me know. Sean, are you out there? Sean Wilson, are you paying attention? Or Holly, are you out there? Holly, are you out there?
Man, I messed up again, Rick. Regret, yeah.
Yeah, you're all right. I'm waiting. Okay, Sean, you're out there. Good. All right, Sean. Give me thumbs up if you can hear the CD real good. Don't put it near the speakers.
Commissioners meeting Monday, July July the 14th, 2014.
Okay, well, 8 o'clock. Mr. Brandon, we've got the recorder on, so good to go. What can we do for you today?
I'm following up on Mackenzie's thing with the investigation of children's services, why they didn't do their job.
You're asking us, did we?
Yeah.
We had a round table group in here that included the sheriff's office, prosecutor's office, children's service office, a representative from Columbus.
I can hear it good.
Who else was in the room? And we had all those chairs filled, Mr. Brown. And the discussion was quite wide ranging in its nature. Talked about what you had explained as all the issues, and you know, we had another appointment set up with you to come back and visit with us, and you must have had a conflict and didn't give us a call, but we had all that documentation out at that time. The appearance or the understanding we got back from it was a timing challenge, was that there were times that Job and Family Services misunderstood the request that you had made, as I recall that conversation, where you were wanting to be compensated from the victim's advocate standpoint. And then the message became blurred between that and the tragic loss of your daughter, Mackenzie, in the fire. But the representative that we talked with from Columbus, the prosecutor's office, and the sheriff's office all agreed that the whole thing was handled within range.
So you're telling me then that the incidents that happened to my child, that Payne Valley, the referral they sent to children's services that they didn't follow up on, you're telling me that was done in range?
That was the comment we made.
Explaining to me.
We had the legal people that make those determinations tell us that.
So by hanging children up on hooks in a kitchen, by locking a child in a closet, you're telling me that's okay?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the
You just said you already said that it was over compensation.
No, I did not, and we're not going to get into a heated discussion about it. I can't.
I have every right to go into a heated conversation over this because it's my child that's dead. It's not your child, it's my child. And that's the problem with Fayette County. Everybody wants to slap each other on the back and run around. I got two tape cassettes sitting right here. That one's Dusty Root and that one's Jesse Weed. They admitted everything that they've done wrong. They admitted it was bias. And if I had to, like I tell you, since you all had your little round room, whatever you want to call it, meeting, and you think everything's all right and everything's fine, then I will take this higher. There is people above you all too.
Have you called the Job and Family Services hotline at the state?
No, I haven't.
What would you like to have that number?
That's fine.
That's what we use to send people, we don't get results.
That's fine.
Well, all I'm telling you is that as they came in here and represented the issue, that they're the ones that had all the interviews with you. You're the one that went to all of them.
Why did it skip for it? Huh. Ain't never done that before. Well, we'll go to 2. Alright, that one was skipping for some reason. Like I said, that was a 2014 tape.
Fayette County Commissioners meeting, Monday, June 5th, 2017.
That's going to help you with that. Well, I'm calling to see if you guys can help me. One, I guess y'all know about what's going on with our case.
Just what I read in the paper.
Back away from the speaker a little bit.
You never know if they quite get the story right all the way, but something about clothes being gone or.
Well, it was confirmed. It was confirmed by Montgomery County. It was confirmed by BCI. It was confirmed by fire marshals. It was confirmed by Fayette County Sheriff's Office.
And confirmed what
That the clothes were destroyed.
The clothes were destroyed at Montgomery County at the
Corner
auditor's office.
Yeah, which which was requested by Dr. Howard K.
Okay.
But my issue, my problem is, Mackenzie was killed in April 27, 2006. The clothes were destroyed August 15, 2006. But you're not even looking into almost a little over 3 months into the case. And everyone I spoke to, including B-Side, everyone said that that's like, you don't even hear of it. You know what I'm saying? You're destroying clothes. My question, one of my questions, and I know you guys would probably have to find out or whatever, was you guys notified about clothes?
By us, you mean the commissioner's office?
Yeah, because it states, the law states that if a coroner doesn't have an office, which at the time Dr. J did not have an office, so everything has to be filed with the common police court, and also like any kind of clothing, anything like that to be stored, he was supposed to contact the county commissioner's office, and then you guys would have to find a facility to store those things. And I'm just asking if it was I think you two would have been around back then when that happened. But that's who would be notified, would be the commissioners.
That's a long time back, Tom.
Right.
We had to dig through the records here somewhere to find out if it was.
Talking about August 2006.
Okay.
Was there any request made by Dr. K that they?
Well, it would have been, August 15th, because he would have, before he ordered them to be destroyed, he would have contacted you guys to store them somewhere because he didn't have.
So that's the time frame we're looking at to see if there was a request from the coroner of this office to store.
Montgomery County.
I can look in the files that we have.
If we do that, we'll
Okay.
look it up.
Yeah, that's fine. I know you can't answer everything today. I know that can't be done. Then, my other thing is too, I don't know if you guys can answer this, and I know when it comes to county officials, you're not going to say something about another county official or answer it, but my question is, how isn't the clothes, and I just want your all's opinion, how isn't my daughter's clothes of a murder not relevant to the case?
It's not really all I can do is give you a dance around answer because I really don't know. I would assume that they probably would be. Maybe Dr. Gay at that time thought he had all the evidence that he could get from the clothes. He had pictures of the clothes, I'm sure.
See, that's the other.
Sorry, I can't.
That's the other issue. From the report that came from Montgomery County, the report from Montgomery County stated that Dr. Gay's statement was that the clothes were singed and water damaged. He never actually examined the clothes. Dr. Gay did. He just made this call without even looking at the clothes. But the thing of it is, DNA lasts for 521 years. That's what it lasts, and it does. It's been proven. Water does not destroy DNA. So even by them squirting water, it got on my child's clothes that night of the fire, which we know.
But he fired due to nature, correct?
No. It has to take a temperature of a cremation. You know, where they would cremate a body, and that's like extensive heat because you're taking a body. Here's the thing. It's been proven 1,000 times over that in a fire, criminals think that by citing the fire, they destroy evidence. But a lot of times it doesn't. And including like a body, if they wasn't going to a house and they find a child in a corner and that skeleton is burned, which my daughter wasn't burned, that skeleton is burned. They have pulled DNA off of a burned victim. So, no. But here's the other question too. My daughter had a blanket over top of her. She was in bed. She was found in the bed with ceiling debris on top of her, which is in all the fire reports. So how did water or anything get to her? That was my question. But then, like the fire marshal said too, they had your child out of the house before the hoses even touched that back of that house. So there was no water. And even in Stanford's own statement, he said, fire never touched my daughter's body or her room. So how was her clothes singed? You see, you got two different stories here. You got a sheriff saying that fire never touched my child's body, fire never touched her bedroom, but then you got a coroner saying that, well, go ahead and destroy the clothes because the clothes were singed and they were water damaged.
Can't answer that one for you.
I mean, you guys, I met with you guys plenty of times over this, and I've asked for your help, and you guys have done what you can do. I understand that. But this is a little bit, I even have a tape recording, I don't know if y'all want to hear it, from BCI, even stating if this happened before he finally did call me back, confirmed the clothes were destroyed, before when he was checking in it. Even BCI, like I said, when he left his voicemail on there, he said you were asking about a shirt. And the funny part of his voicemail on my phone was that he stated, I'm pretty sure 10 to 11 years ago those clothes were destroyed. Now, April 27th was 11 years ago. So ain't it suspicious that he knew 10, 11 years ago he was pretty sure those clothes were destroyed. But nobody, my question here is, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, the fire marshal, everybody, Vernon, his statement is, we paid a lot of money, we brought investigators in on this case, and you're telling me in 10 to 11 years of bringing people into an investigation, not a single person asked about those clothes. That is a key evidence to any crime, and anything you find around a dead body that is ruled a homicide is key evidence. It is, that's common sense. So in those 11 years, you're going to tell me nobody asked about those clothes? Nobody had any suspicions until I bring up that I want to touch DNA done on the clothing. Then I wasn't even told that they were destroyed. Then I was told that they were lost. And that then it was becoming a point of pointing a finger at dead people. You know, it's, well, the coroner did this, we don't know, he's dead. Well, Detective Brown did this, we don't know why he's dead, we can't ask him. It's point. Here's the thing, I don't care if they're dead or not. If you're proven to, and whether you're dead or alive, you should still be accountable for your actions, whether you're dead or alive. Because at the time my daughter was murdered, they weren't dead. At the time the clothes were destroyed, they weren't dead. Nobody was dead yet. At the time that I asked for the touch DNA, they weren't dead yet. Dr. Gay, Steele, which, you know, I brought him up into this, and Detective Philip Brown, were not dead. They've only been dead for 3 years, maybe tops. So, in all these years that they brought Vernon Stanford brought and paid these investigators, what did they investigate? Because how can you tell the community this is an ongoing investigation, this is 911 product, and the key evidence is gone, is destroyed, and you're telling me you didn't know it was destroyed? So how are you working on a case if you didn't know the clothes were destroyed? You thought they were lost. I mean, you see where I'm saying?
I want this to sound true, okay? Mm-hmm. What would you ask us to do?
Yeah, if they're
gone. Because we're not investigators, we're not the sheriff, we're not the coroner. So, I preface, I don't want it to sound crude. What would you have to do, Don?
Here's what I wanted to see if you can do. I mean, honestly, I was bottom of my heart as a father, two fathers. Is I believe with this case, because of the stuff that's happened now, I honestly believe, and I'm asking you guys, I don't know if you can or not, I'm just asking, I believe that someone else needs to come in on this case. And that person needs to have no association with Fayette County, meaning they don't sit on the board with nobody from the sheriff's office. They don't sit, you know what I'm saying? And then
that's what I wanted to hear.
And that this case starts from the beginning. And I'm not saying, you know, we all know that in this world there is good cops, there is bad cops. That's true. There is. You can't say all cops are good cops. You can't say all people are good people. You can't say all fathers are good fathers. No. So What I want is this to be investigated and started from the beginning. Here's my question too. Here's the thing why I'm having a problem. I've asked for 9 months now for 2 people's DNA to be done on my daughter's case. Okay? When you are handling a murder case, you start from the top and you work your way down. That means you start with mom and dad, boyfriend and girlfriend, then you work your way down family member. There's 2 family members on that side of the family that have never been tested for DNA and have a different dad. So with the sheriff looking at me eye to eye and saying, well, we tested this brother, he passed, so everybody passed. No, that's not how DNA works. You understand what I'm saying? Because now you got 2 kids here that were never tested for DNA. And I've asked for that 9 months. Prosecutor Jesse Weeks even requested it to be done. There's even a request to bring my daughter back up and have her examined. We're still waiting on that. Why is there hesitation on all this instead of it being done? If you're telling everybody in your community this is a #1 priority, wouldn't you be moving on it? Not sitting on it? So that's what I'm asking for. I'm just asking for a fair thing as a father. I feel that there is something wrong with this case, and I have that right. I have the evidence. See, that's the difference. I can prove mine. And you know, when I come to the table with something, I prove it. And I have that evidence. I can prove. It's the sheriff's office that's got to prove that that deputy wasn't involved. But now they can't even do that because they ain't got the clothes to do a touch DNA to prove that he didn't touch my child. And like I told Vernon Stammer, and I'm going to tell you guys the same thing. Vernon asked me why I wanted that touch DNA done, and I told him, I explained why. A deputy attacked me from the time my daughter's death until he died. So I had my suspicions, just like anybody else would. But when I asked, he asked me a question. He said, what are you trying to say? That that deputy murdered your daughter or raped your daughter? No, that's not what I'm saying. I did not say that Mike Stiegel raped my child or murdered my child. But I believe, because he related to the boyfriend that lived in that home, that he was there that night before that fire was set. And the only way to prove that that man wasn't in my child's bedroom would have been touch DNA. Because his DNA should be nowhere on my child at all, which would have cleared him. But now they don't even have the clothes to do. You see what I'm saying? To prove that. There.
Is the blanket still around?
There's nothing. That's what I don't understand. There's nothing. I talked to Dr. Mesker, which is the new corner. He got on the file because a lot of that stuff's public record. I have the right to all that stuff. And he got on there. He said, key word, he said, the last thing filed into your daughter's case was May 31st, 2006, the day after her 9th birthday. So now, and then he said, but the destroying of the clothes that he requested, Dr. J requested, ain't even in her file. That report wasn't even logged in on her file. And he was alive at the time that order was done. He was alive when that investigation was going. So why wasn't his reason of destroying the clothes filed in my child's? You see what I'm saying? Because the last thing logged in on her computer, on her, thing was May 31st, 2006. Those were destroyed August 15, 2006. So that should have been in there.
When was the fire?
April 27, 2006. So a month after, which, like I said, would have been her birthday, was May 30th. The 31st was the last thing filed in her where you would file everything with the common police court, because Dr. J didn't have an office. When a coroner don't have an office, everything's filed with a common police court. That's where everything's supposed to go. And I went there. Her file was that thing. So where's all that stuff at that I'm allowed to have access to? The only thing I'm not allowed to have is the actual autopsy. The what they got, like the where they found the DNA, blah blah blah. I get what they call preliminary autopsy, but I'm also allowed everything as far as times where she went from Fayette County to Montgomery County, from Montgomery County back to Fayette County, the reason why the clothes were destroyed, the reason why they were held. Because see, they were held too. On April 28th, there was an order put in for a close to be held. Then in August, Montgomery County called Fayette County and said, hey, we have these clothes here that belongs to your case. What do you want to do with them? Then that's when the order was put in to destroy them. But like I said, we're not dummies. And when you're investigating a homicide like my daughter, where there was arson involved and everything else, it takes time for things to come back from the lab. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It takes 6 months, 9 months, because there's other cases sitting over there in Montgomery County before Mackenzie's. So you're not even got everything back yet. You're not even starting your interviewing people yet, but you destroy evidence.
Well, let's see where we can go with this.
Because I've called Mike DeWine's office 5 times, and I'm not happy with him. You can let him know that, because I've called his office 5 times, and he hasn't returned a call yet to me. Okay. All I keep getting is a little, whatever you call them, secretary or whatever. You have somebody on the phone, and then I don't get nowhere with it. So I'm not happy with that, because why are you going, when you call the State's Attorney General's office, Mike DeWine comes on there. First thing Mike DeWine does is he's got a voicemail. And then that voicemail, he says, I'm here for the victims' families of the state of Ohio, But he ain't returned no calls, and five phone calls to his office, and not one returned call.
Did his office, the BCI?
Well, BCI did call me, and they left the voicemail. BCI also then called me back after he confirmed
Did
everything.
they investigate this case too?
Yes.
They did?
BCI was involved.
Okay.
Actually, Eva Hall was the detective. She came down and took the case for 2 years.
So
And then she was supposed to do a profile, whatever, and then a folder was supposed to be on Jesse Weed's desk, a folder was supposed to be on the fire marshal's desk, and then a folder was supposed to be on Vernon Stanford's desk. Instead, BCI gave the case back to Vernon Stanford. Fire marshal never got a copy of what BCI did, what they were investigating, neither did the prosecutor. Then that's when all this started, right then. That's when we started requesting stuff from me and Jesse Weed. And Jesse Weed he requested for my daughter to be brought back up and DNA analysis to be done again on her. We requested the 2 boys to be their DNA to be brought in, and asked for their DNA and be interviewed. That ain't been done. And Jesse Weed said it's right there. He said it's right there on his computer from emails from the sheriff's office. And there's an email from the sheriff's office to Jesse Weed about the clothes, because he requested to touch DNA. Jesse Weed did. And then that's when we got the message from an email from the sheriff's office to Jesse Weed saying the clothes are lost. And we can't go and ask Detective Brown where the clothes are, because he's no longer living. Quit blaming the dead. Here's my thing too. The sheriff, all the people underneath him work for him. So he's accountable for everything his deputies do. All of them. All the way down the ladder. So quit blaming the dead people. Well, I can't go ask for this, and I can, because I guarantee you, Detective Brown, Philip Brown, was not riding around with my daughter's evidence in his car, riding around with it. It don't happen. Cops don't put evidence in the car and ride around with it, especially 8, 9 years into a case. There's a room that you put everything in. So that's another thing I'm tired of. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Be honest. If you screwed up, you screwed up. But don't lie to me about it, because you're going to get caught. Just like I said, Vernon and Ryan McFarland looked dead at me in a meeting and said, we lost the clothes. The next day, 5 minutes on the phone, I find out the clothes are destroyed. Same thing they could have done before telling me something different. You know what I'm saying? So when that happens, I'm sorry, but any father that loses a child in a case like my kid, you would be the same way. You would start being, your suspicion is going to be on the county, because why is the county lying to us? Why, you know what I'm saying? Why? What's the whole reason to lie? You're no different than the mom and the boyfriend that's told 13 lies of the fire. You're no different. But then you go in the newspaper and say you have no suspects and this case may never be solved. Of course it might not now. Key evidence is destroyed. Here's the thing, you got to think about this. They have male DNA from my daughter's room. If that male DNA was on her panties, how are you going to prove to a jury that's where you got it from? Because the defense attorney is going to ask for those panties.
Yeah.
And then you're going to say to the defense attorney, they were destroyed. Well, the defense attorney is going to say, well, you destroyed them. So you're covering something up. Because why would you destroy evidence? You know we're going to ask about it. Prosecutors are not dumb. So you know the defense is going to ask to see it. Because the defense is going to say, well, how do I know about the door? You can't prove that it was that night that he did what he did to my kid. You don't have the key evidence. So, Vernon making the accusation he made in the newspaper was totally wrong. I'm against every bit of it. Because you can't tell me that the closed one ain't relevant. He's not a science. And touch DNA has been around since John Benet Ramsey's murder. So that was 20 years ago. Well, it was 1996. And in 2007 is when they found the touch DNA, or could do touch DNA, and then cleared her parents. So that touch DNA, that's a lot in that, because my daughter was found in her bed. So everything around that bed should have been collected too. Just like in the sheriff's report, Kenny, the boyfriend, had injuries to himself from the fire. But no one took a photograph of his injuries. Nobody collected the computer out of the house. And I was sat right there and was told by Ryan McFarland and Vernon Stanford, well, we didn't know about doing that kind of stuff back then in those days. Really? They've been taking stuff from scenes for many, many years, way back. This ain't new that you go in and you take or should we take a computer because the mom admitted she was on a computer that night, or should we take pictures of his wounds on his arm because they might match up with why he's got those wounds, which would have been maybe on my child's body or on her clothing. How do I know that she wasn't defending herself that night and cut him, you know what I'm saying, scratched him and blood dripped on her nightgown, on her panties, on her socks. And that's another thing too. It was a t-shirt, a pair of panties, and 2 white socks. And you're going to tell me all 3 of them were singed and were wet from the fire? So the only way you can prove that to me, show me the photographs. Because you have to take a picture of my daughter when they first brought her to the morgue. You take a picture of that child, you know, when it was told it's an arson homicide, they take a picture of it. Then when they take the clothes off, they take a picture of the clothes again. Then those clothes go into evidence because it's a crime scene. But there's no photographs. Clothes are destroyed. And I hate to say that I'm not being rude about this, please don't take this offensive. I smell cover up. And I'm not going to lie about it. Because for the people that's working on this case, you're talking years. They were years into this kind of job they do. You just don't destroy clothes. And the first law, you don't destroy clothes without contacting the fire marshal who's in on the investigation. He's handling the arson part. Those clothes could have had the chemicals they used to set the fire on my child. It just, the fire didn't make it to her to really, you know what I'm saying, burn her. So we don't know that. We will never know that today. We'll never know there was blood on her. We'll never know if there was slob on her, you know, or sweat from somebody, you know, that went up and checked her pulse or whatever before the fire was set. We'll never know that now. Never. That's gone.
All I can say is I hope I never have the same concerns. So let us see what we can do.
I don't wish this on my worst enemy.
All right? Yeah, no.
And for anybody to say they don't understand me being mad and frustrated, you ain't a parent.
Right.
Because anybody else that would lose a kid to the way I lost my daughter would be just as mad as I am too. When you're hearing that, well, they destroyed this and they lost this and this is missing and this cop's dead and this coroner's dead. We can't ask them what happened or where they put this at or why. The thing of it is, when I talked to the fire marshal, just like he said, everything that we did on your daughter's case, of the fire part, the arson part, is still sitting in one room. We can go in there and get anything we want out of that room and hand it to whoever needs it. go to the sheriff's office and what, they don't have a room for evidence? They're missing stuff, they've misplaced stuff, they can't go and ask the person because they're dead now. Shouldn't be having to ask anybody, it should be in one room with Mackenzie's name all over it. So that's why I'm here, that's why I'm questioning. But that's what I would like to see, is somebody come into this case. I feel that they dropped the ball on my daughter's case, and I feel that somebody needs to come in here, and somebody needs
You want
to,
a set of fresh eyes to look at it.
yeah, but somebody that's not, I don't want somebody like the investigator, let me put it this way, the investigator Vernon Stanford brought in on this was John Hicks. John Hicks wasted 1 year of DNA school kids, male school kids. That's what he did. That was the only thing he did. Then BCI come in and took the case from there. And John Hicks was told it, bye-bye, see you later. That's the investigator they hired. But then the investigator they brought in was John Hicks. Guess what? He's related to the fire chief that was at the fire that night. You see when are you going to have somebody look at something that ain't related to somebody or ain't on a board with somebody, or you know what I'm saying? When is it going to be somebody that's a fresh set of eyes that don't know Vernon Stanford, he don't know Detective Brown, because that's the only way you find out what the truth is. And it's somebody that ain't afraid to say at the sheriff's office, hey, this deputy, what we can prove this deputy was there, we can prove this deputy was there. He should be held accountable. I don't care if you're a cop, judge, lawyer, whatever. If you're involved in a crime, you should be punished just like anybody else that's a citizen of the state of Ohio. So yes, I want a new set of eyes on this, but I want somebody, and I think if it can be done, that I should be allowed to know who it is and if I approve it.
Well, that's why I say we'll have to check for how that gets initiated. I think we get contact information.
And I know there's been talk, I appreciate y'all talking to me, I know there's been talk about I want to sue the county because of mistakes that were made.
People to utilize every resource they've got, Donald.
But here's the thing, you know me, and you know me. I'm a fair guy. I'll give anybody the benefit of the doubt before I make anything happen. The thing with this is, my daughter is my concern right now. And that case, that should have been, I believe, solved 3 months after that fire, has now gone into 11 years because of stuff missing and stuff being destroyed. And it shouldn't have never happened at all. Bottom line, you just don't misplace something when you're looking at a child murder. Come on, I mean, she's the only child homicide in Fayette County unsolved. And it's 11 years now. And people are getting mad.
Yeah.
People are getting upset with this. And they're upset with the article right here in this newspaper. They're upset with the Channel 6 News with a sheriff standing there leaning against a chair. He acted like he didn't care one bit about what anybody had to say. But I can guarantee you one thing, if it was his child, I guarantee he'd be sitting here doing the same thing I'm doing today. Yeah. Because if you don't, you're not a parent. But don't lie to me. I've been clear. 2009, on my daughter's birthday, May 30th, I was clear of any involvement in my daughter's murder. I should have all kinds of rights to be able to know what's going on and not be stuff hidden from me, especially when it's public record and I'm told well, we can't give you that because it's non-investigation. You can't have that. Because my question is to you guys is how in the world I'm being told that I ain't allowed to have nothing because it's an ongoing investigation, but the mother is getting all kinds of stuff. Because I've been in court with her and she's brought it in there, and I'm thinking, how did you get that? And I'm not allowed to have it. I live in the county, you don't. So how is she getting it? Who's giving it to her? Right.
So others ask questions, though. I mean, that's all we can do.
Right, I know that. I know that.
We'll look for it.
I know that.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for sitting
You
there.
bet.
Round 3. You know what's funny though? Have you ever thought they could like film in there?
Checking in a few things since the last time I spoke to you guys. I just left BCI this morning, and they told me to talk to Jesse Weed and get a request from the prosecutor to bring BCI into this case. And they do want to come into this case. And one of the reasons is they admitted that the ball was dropped on Mackenzie's case. I did some more, you know, I'm not going to stop with my daughter's case, but I did some digging and stuff. And I spoke to, and I have them all taped. Maybe you guys can find a time that we can sit down and listen to the tapes that I have. I talked to the Montgomery County Coroner's Office. He admitted they had an error, that they made an error on Mackenzie's case. One of the errors that was when they took Mackenzie to Montgomery County, then they were sending Mackenzie back to Fayette County. They got a call saying bring her back. And they were probably on the road maybe 10, 15 minutes when they told them to bring her back. When they brought her back, they started it as a murder scene. And they started the autopsy, started collecting samples and everything off of Mackenzie. When they were done, they sent that to their crime lab. Their crime lab sent it back to their office. Now, the problem I have with Fayette County is it sat there for 6 years. Nobody asked a question about those results or nothing. And there was potential DNA. There was some other things that they had. And no one asked anything about it. So what happened was that DNA, they only had a small amount, kind of pretty much became contaminated because it didn't go to the right proper people that it was supposed to go to. But the problem that there was the sheriff's office in 6 years never asked about it. Never asked about the results or anything about it till Detective Ryan McFarland came into the sheriff's office, and he went to Montgomery County. As they were going through Mackenzie's case, they found that file. And the coroner said that detective, which was Ryan McFarland, was upset because he didn't understand why 6 years did it sit here and no one knew about it. No one knew about it. So Montgomery County's already accepted their error. They've already spoke to me about it. It's all recorded, the conversation, which I want you guys to hear that recording. He also talks about the person that was in charge of like the close of Mackenzie's. They fired because he also made some mistakes on other cases and wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. There was no record of who ordered the clothes to be destroyed. Why it wasn't documented, no one knows. Why it wasn't put in there or anything, the only thing he can think of, it was done verbally. So there's no record of the clothes. So I've already spoke to BCI that there this morning, and I talked to 2 people up there. They're putting in some requests, but they told me to come back here and talk to Jesse Reed, and he gave me an email address to email the request. Once they get that request, then they'll take the case.
It's not going to ease your mind any, but I've talked with Mike DeWine about it some, and he said, well, it's not a good excuse, but when he came in as Attorney General, he said they found rape kits that were 20 years old that had never been touched.
Right.
And he said the really unfortunate part, the women didn't know if the rapist was down the street in the building, dead, gone, and they found several that had died. They found a lot that were already in prison.
Right.
But it did not help the offended person.
Right.
Because no one knew.
Right.
But just what you're finding, I think, though, Tom, is very typical because of understaffing and a lot of burden to get things done. And some things get laid down and you think, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And there's a critical issue that pops up in between and off you go. So I'm not making excuses.
But when you're telling the community, the sheriff, not you guys, not the prosecutor, when the sheriff's telling the community that this is a no-on part and they're working on it every day, and that's what he quote, he has stated. How do you go 6 years without asking? How do you go 6 years without saying, oh, we sent Mackenzie out there for an autopsy for a murder case, have the results come in? How do you go 6 years without asking?
That's an answer I can't give you.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think our detectives are that stupid.
I wouldn't say it's stupid at all.
That they didn't, they're working on a murder or homicide that they wouldn't ask where a certain document is or a certain piece of paper is. And then 6 years later, when another detective comes in, they find it. But then finding it, now it's a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Now that potential DNA is gone. That part of what we needed to put a profile together and everything is gone. So then now we exhume my daughter, and now if nothing comes out of that, what do we have? Who's going to be able to come to me and say, well, we can go this way with the case? You know what I'm saying? But here's another question, and I've talked to, and I've got them taped, I have talked to 6 people that lived in Jeffersonville at the time of that fire that Mary Ann and Kenny knocked on their doors. 6 of them. That saw the fire, saw what Mary Ann was doing, saw what Kenny was doing, saw who moved the red pickup truck in the middle of the road. Do you know all 6 of those have never been questioned by the Fayette County Sheriff's Office? 12 years. Years have never been questioned. Never been brought in, never been asked, what did you see that night? When you went grab the ladder to go help them to get that child out of the house, what were they doing? What was, where? Do you know I have one witness that puts Kenny in the pickup truck? I have one witness that Mary Ann was in her house the whole entire time with a blanket wrapped around her until after they put Mackenzie in the ambulance before she come out on the porch. These are serious witnesses. They saw everything before anybody got there, before a fire truck got there, before an ambulance got there, before the sheriff's office got there. And you're telling me in 12 years, why weren't they questioned?
I got no answer.
When a detective's telling you that, and that man's name is right here on the sheriff's report of the night of the fire as the 911 caller. He's the 911 caller. He was the first one outside, first one that saw everything that was going on, spoke to the mother, spoke to the boyfriend, and he's on the sheriff report, and they ain't talked to this man in 12 years. And he lives in Wyoming now.
Well, press on with Jess and get your request for help from BCI.
I mean, I'm just asking you guys, what do you think about this? Honestly.
Well, honestly, I would have hoped that I would have done better, but I wasn't those guys, so I don't know. I understand your frustration and the challenge it presents, but
I just don't understand. Like I said, I shouldn't have to do this. Honestly. I shouldn't have had to. I'm a victim. My daughter was a victim. My family's a victim. And I shouldn't have to be doing this. This is their job over there. And they can't even be honest with me. I heard the story that the clothes were lost, to I found out they were destroyed, to now that potential evidence and everything sat up there for 6 years, no one questioned it, no one asked about that file, nobody, nothing, to I've got 6 witnesses that's never been questioned, never been asked about that fire. What the hell did they do with my daughter's case? Honestly, what did they do with this murder?
I don't know.
Doesn't sound like, it sounds like there's a lot of gaps there, Tom. So I think BCI coming in, fresh eyes at it, is the way to go. So Jess agrees with that.
They certainly will interview the 6 people that Donald talked about. Yeah.
Nope. Never interviewed him.
The
Never interviewed him. Still ain't.
There was even a lady. There was a lady that even, you know, I take my story, and I've told the community my story. You know, I care less. It's going to get out there no matter what. The thing of it is this lady saw my story, saw one of the witnesses where I did my live feed, and I let the lady tell what she saw that night. And this lady comes forward and says, you know what, that lady that was talking, and she says she saw Kenny down there talking to this guy. Well, that guy was my husband. She said, I took a photograph of that fire while the house was still on fire. See, no, there was never no one knew there was any pictures of that fire. That, you know, all the photographs came after they put it out. And then that lady sent it to the Record Herald, that photograph. But then now the Record Herald's trying to find it. But that was the only actual, you know, photo of that fire. But when I asked her, well, is anybody from Fayette County? Nope. But 2 people from BCI came and talked to me. There was a woman and a guy, and when she described them, I knew exactly what she was talking about, which was Eva Hall and Cornelius back then. But when Eva Hall and them came into this case, which I think was 2013, half the people were gone. They moved away. And like some of the witnesses, you'll hear them, they say, I remembered a lot more the night of that fire than I do 12 years from now. I can tell you where my memory I can pick, this and that. But why? Why? I don't understand why. Why did the sheriff's office not do what they should have done when this was a homicide? I mean, we got a coroner that wasn't allowed to go in the room and rope off the crime scene and collect the evidence that you're supposed to collect from where the body was found. You got, it's one that I can understand a murder case that you might lose maybe one paper or you might, overlook something, but this many errors on one case, it's never called for anywhere. You call anybody and they'll tell you, man, just like the clothing. Everybody I talked to, including BCI, that shouldn't have never been destroyed. But how are we going to find out who ordered it? Because nothing was done in chain of custody. Nothing was done. Nothing was put on paper. Nothing was noted that this was this, this was this, this is why we do this. What witnesses did the sheriff's office fit our money, tax dollars, and talk to when I've got the many witnesses that were at the fire that have never been spoke to? So where did that money go? Who did they talk to? Who did they witness? Who did they question? Detective Brown was dead, so we can't ask him why he didn't do it. And like BCI said this morning, they're smart people over there. And like that lady told me, all you have to do if you don't know something about a crime scene, all you got to do is ask somebody that, and we'll send somebody or somebody else, another department come in. If you don't know what you're doing, don't try to do it. Have somebody else come in and look at it. Well, this ain't about fame. It's not about, hey, I saw Mackenzie's case, I'm the #1 person. That's not what it's about. It's about a little girl that was murdered. Horribly. Set on fire. And nobody took this serious in the beginning of this. No one. The question is why? What did that little girl do that was so bad that no one took this serious? And then, like I said, I get a phone call from the sheriff telling me to shut my mouth and then I'm making his department look bad. I didn't make his department look bad. He made his department look bad. He's the one that didn't do his job. I did my job as a father. When you called me in for my DNA, I came in and gave it to you. When you told me to go take a lie detector test, I went to my lie detector test. When you called me in and I talked to 16 different detectives, I'll come in and talk to every one of them. So I've done my job as a parent. rather than being able to mourn and have peace with my daughter. I mean, honestly, to you three, don't question you about our sheriff department when something like this happens. Why? Because
the encouraging thing you're telling me is that you've got detectives over there now that are looking into it and are doing a better job than what was done then.
Well, my question is, though, are they really doing it, or are they going to follow the sheriff that don't want something uncovered?
Can't answer anything about that, Donald.
Because when you look at this case, and when you really look at this case, and I'm not saying this in a rude way, it was covered up for a reason. You don't make this many errors in a murder. You just don't. I have not found one department in the state of Ohio that said, if the sheriff is doing something he ain't supposed to be doing, he gets caught up in it, then that's his problem, and the law to take care of that problem. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got Vernon Stanley saying, well, we're all good cops and there ain't no bad cops, but then I had a cop come to my house, stand in front of me, and tell me I had a hit on my head. Okay, so who's the bad cop here? The cop that tells me I have a hit on my head, or the sheriff that's telling me I didn't say that? So he's a cop, 47 years. He's a cop, 40-something years. You know what I'm saying? So there is bad cops. Quit saying there ain't no bad cops, because there is. You see it all the time on the news. So, squash that part. My thing is, like I said, when you go to a detective that's had this case for 4 years, and you say, hey, this is the name of one of the witnesses, and then he says, well, I don't know that name, and I'm telling you it's on the sheriff report, tells me, did you read the sheriff report? Quit telling our community this case is moving forward. How can it be moving forward when I have more than they do? Than the sheriff's office does. I actually have more in here than they do. They're asking me for the names and the phone numbers of these people. If I could find them, they surely should have been able to find them. It ain't hard to do what I did. All I did was, you got buildings around here to tell you who was living at this address in 2006. And then you get on Facebook and you send them a message, hey, I'm such and such. Can you contact me? This is why. And then they called me. They were all free willing to me to take their conversation. And then at the end, their tape said, Dawn, you find the right person, we'll come in and we'll sit down and we'll tell what we know without having that night of the fire. They're all willing to still talk, but they're the same way. You gotta understand, these people are saying the same thing I am. Why didn't you come in? One of the witnesses even made 3 phone calls to the sheriff's office, left his name, told him he was the 911 caller. He was the first one to make contact with the mom and the boyfriend. 3 phone calls, and was still 12 years, going on 12 years, never been called yet. These people ain't got no reason to lie. And the stories that they're telling, like I said, when I found this witness and this witness told his story, then when I found this witness and her husband and they told it, you can tell when you guys are more willing to listen to these tapes. You can tell the way, this guy says, well, she left my house, went to that next door neighbor's house, and I don't know what she did. Then that neighbor says what Marianne did there. You can tell they all, connect. All those people saw the exact same thing, just different forms of it, but you know what I'm saying. But when you listen to them, you know who the guilty party is, just by what they explain. Just like that truck sitting in the middle of the road. You know why that truck was sitting in the middle of the road? It was to prevent the fire department getting their trucks close enough to that house to put that fire out. And you got 2 witnesses that know about that truck. But you don't even take 5 minutes of your time to go over there and sit down with them and say, okay, what did you see? And you remember the fire happened there in courthouse, the building that burned there on Delaware, the big fire scene. Couldn't even tell you who was standing there. So, but I mean, like I said, Montgomery County, they agreed to their error. They admitted to their error, and it's on the tape. You hear them say, "We made the error." Da 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 da. BCI, they said the same thing, because when Eva Hall retired, she was supposed to send a pamphlet to each department, Jesse, fire marshal, and the sheriff's office, of what she could find out or whatever about the fire. And the only one that got it was the sheriff's office. Jesse, we never received his, neither did the fire marshal. But BCI agreed, because it was a family thing. That's why she retired. Her daughter got sick real bad and everything, and Eva Hall retired and left, and undoing, you know what I'm saying, didn't finish what she was supposed to do. And so it went all back to the sheriff's office. So, but they admitted it. There's only one person that admitted they're wrong. And that's Vernon P. Stample. Why?
I don't have an answer for you, Donald. We're not going to have one.
I'd say let BCI.
Yeah. We'll find them. I think you're headed the right way.
So you guys agree with that? Of letting BCI come in?
Well, that's up to Jeff.
I know.
So,
But you guys
I
agree?
would think that if they're encouraging their participation, it would not be the best appearance for the county to deny them access.
Yeah, but the only way the BCI can do that is, like I said,
That's what I said. It's
either
not,
the sheriff or the prosecutor has to request them
it
to come
doesn't
in.
look good on behalf of the county to deny BCI access if they're saying they want to come out.
They do. They do. And even the lady, I spoke to the lady that did the lie detector test, and she said, they need to be brought back in, we've all agreed to that. You can't go back. We ain't gonna bring the clothes back. We ain't gonna bring that DNA that was there back and all that. But people need to be held accountable for what happened there. And right now, Montgomery County is agreeing to their part. BCI is agreeing to their part. I mean, 12 years I shouldn't have been doing this. I should be, taking flowers to my daughter's grave and saying, hey, it's over, it's done, and you can rest, baby. And you know what I'm saying? This is tough. This is 12 years of my life, man. And, I got a wife and other kids at home, and like I said, I get a phone call and it's a new detective, and then that detective is on in a year and then they're gone. You can't run a case that way. They brought that John Hicks in. And Bernie should have known how to call on to that real quick. He was Jay Hicks's dad. Jay Hicks was the fire marshal, or the fire chief at the fire scene. He's also was our K-9 here in Fayette County Sheriff's Office. So why would you bring his dad in knowing there was a conflict there? To start asking questions, and then only was here, I think he was only on the case 8 months, and then BCI comes in, knocks him out of the picture, calls his thing, what he was doing, a joke, and then they take it, and then he all run, retire, and then it's right back here again. Now it's just sitting over there, Then you got detectives saying, I'm working on it, But Vernon, like I said, he just posted in the paper the worst thing he could have said. And that was, one, this was an ongoing investigation, it's moving forward, #1 priority. But then he contradicted himself, because then in the end of the newspaper article, he says, I don't believe this will be a case that others will be solved. Why would you say that? It can be solved. The right people do the right job. It can be solved, even though some of that stuff's not here no more. There's still the arson. There's still the fire. There's still the fire marshal with all his evidence. There's still 2 people that was inside that house with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So it can be solved. Might not find out whose male DNA was actually in the room and who might have done whatever to my kids. But we know there was a fire. We know my daughter died. And if the toxicology report's correct that she died of smoke and carbon monoxide, well, the fire alone, that's a murder. And it's 2 felonies, so it's still a life sentence. So
maybe BCI will get to that point.
I just want to let you guys know what was going on. I have nothing against you all, but like I told Jesse Reed, I met that gentleman was here the other last week. Yeah, I met him, and like I told him, I got nothing to hide. I won't hide it. You guys know that. I speak my mind, you know that. But it's only fair that you all know. Y'all are the county. You need to know who's working for the county and what they're doing and all that stuff. And I know you three have kids, grandkids, and everything. And I know you didn't want to go through what I went through. And you want to make sure that, you know, if somebody else dies in this county, that is handled the proper way. Because just like I said, there's errors on Dr. Gay. I've already proved that, you know. He didn't go to the crime scene where my daughter was. He went to the hospital. He looked at my daughter at the hospital, then went to the crime scene. That's not how it's supposed to work. I know my daughter laid there in the ambulance for an hour at the crime scene waiting on him, but never showed up. You know, but then when he showed up, the only testimony he took was Vernon Stanboy's wife's testimony. Why? She wasn't there. What's her whole testimony has what to do with this? She wasn't there. All she was ran the visitation center years ago and didn't even do her job there. So, you know, who is she? Just because she's a sheriff, why she has the right to give a statement and point fingers and not even know at that time that this was an arson? You know what I'm saying? So, I just, like I said, I'm fair. I come to you guys, I'll let you guys know what's going on. I don't hide nothing from you guys.
Appreciate knowing the staff.
I know you guys want to eat fun.
So, as far as pictures, I had a significant fire when I was up in Jeffersonville too. The state farm marshal was there. They took every picture we had of that going on. So that picture you're looking for, the paper may have given it to them and they don't know they did it. So they may have pictures in their file.
Ron's a pretty good guy, Ron Stevens, but like I said, he was told to back off of this from BCI through Vernon's request. And when BCI gave everything back to Vernon, he never contacted the fireman. I know this for a fact. And they haven't been brought back in. And Ron Stevens, they're working on their part up there. What they're trying to figure out why.
But they usually have the pictures.
Right.
It's basically
well, the owner has. I just found out
the active fire picture.
Right. And I just had Montgomery County. He just told me they have pictures of Mackenzie when she came in. And I'm allowed to see those. Those are public record. And then there was the autopsy, which I told him I didn't want to see that. Right. I don't want to see that.
I'm referring to the active fires when I'm talking about.
We're hoping we find it because that's the only photograph.
Well, one fire marshal, they have that.
I hope. So I can call them and find out.
Yeah, see what they have.
Got him to speak out.
I know they have online too.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Is that the one you're going?
No, this is a new one.
All right.
Lake County Commissioners meeting, Monday, June 19th, 2017.
How you doing?
All right. Good. I'll give you guys one of these.
Thank you.
Just planes. Look at the papers.
I hear her, the secretary, but why ain't anybody talking?
Are you guys talking at this moment?
Should have been. I hear her. Both like that. You can't pass forward.
Okay.
I hear people moving around.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, go ahead and pick that up. We'll see if it comes to it. Get me back.
You're on.
All right. Well, what I wanted, that was, I got the CD playing. I can hear the lady in the background. Some reason it's not, I don't know why it's not recording what me and the commissioners are talking about. Who knows? Maybe it was something they didn't want recorded, so they made it. I don't know. But there, like I said, that was 4 CDs. That was 4 meetings with the commissioner. I met with the commissioners another time, which we did a live feed during that meeting. It just shows how many times I've been in commissioners, what I've discussed with the commissioners. And if you can tell, they weren't straightforward with answers and stuff. They were like, well, we'll look into this. You gave us a lot. We'll see what we can do and stuff like that. In the last CD, if you heard it, he was talking and he said something about with the names of the witnesses and stuff, maybe they'll do something. That was almost 5-6 months ago. And here we are today. And I had a witness call me today on the phone and tell me that she's never been talked to yet.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Thank y'all for listening.
We'll go back to the CD now. I guess now they got me.
That is the report. This is a coroner's report. And what this is the report where he's at the scene. And then he files the report. This is the report that came up missing. This is the report that didn't get filed. And when Dr. Mesker went to Dr. Jay's wife's house about this report, she couldn't find it. And this is, so my question is, why would they hide? This is, I've already talked to Brian McFarland with the fire department. I've already talked to Dr. Mesker. I've already talked to Brian with the fire marshal, Ron Steeman. And every one of them wants this report. And I told them they're more welcome to it. First of all, it should have never been missing. Second of all, they should have already had this. This is a very, very, very important thing to a crime. Especially when the mother's truck is sitting in the middle of the road running. And a fireman's already put in a statement that the doors were open and her cell phone was in the car. But then in her story, in her statement, she woke up to the fire. Well, how do you wake up to a fire, but then your pickup truck sitting in the middle of the road? You know what I'm saying? So this was a very important part of that investigation that's been going on for 11 years. And why this was never filed, we can't ask because Dr. J is no longer here. Or who told him not to file it, we'll never know because he's not here. But do you understand what I'm saying? And the reason I'm coming to you guys is I believe in you guys. And I believe that you all deserve to know everything I know. So the only reason I share everything with you guys.
That's no problem. We've done a few things since we last spoke as well. Let us kind of fill you in that.
Okay.
We asked the prosecutor what the stage was and what was next. And he's told us a couple of things that are happening almost
right now or very shortly. And
Right. All right, Ashley just told me that Facebook only allows a live feed to go 4 hours. And I've been on there since 7 o'clock and it's almost 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this live feed. I'm going to start up another live feed and go back to where I was, where we left off at with the commissioners talking on the tape. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go back live again. Thank you y'all for watching. Just wait till my live feed comes back up and then we'll start again. There's still a couple other cassette tapes that I'm, you know, like I said, I know it's time consuming and everything, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop this live feed and then we'll go back to another live.